Shalom, great family of Yahshua. Micah Yaakov here. Yahadin Yahshua Yisrael. Joining us, you're now joining us here at the house of Yahshua. Welcome to the house of Yahshua. It's the house of Yahshua. All Yahshua's all caps on YouTube. Go there, check us out, give it a like, subscribe. We need the subscriptions and the comments. We appreciate that you've been giving. We'd like more of you to join us because this is the marriage supper teachings. We've got some great prophetic things we're going to cover today. We're going to have Yahshua's law and prophecy class today. He has instructed us to go out with the law and the prophets, and we are doing so, and we're going to continue to do so. Again, I am Micah Yaakov. I am the Micaiah of Revelations 12. That the beast men of Daniel chapter 8, and you can chain reference that over to Revelations chapter 17, that are the leaders of the house of Yahweh, Hallel, the house of Yahweh, on the hill in Clyde, Texas, 79510, the seventh era, of which Yahshua, Messiah, the King of all kings, wrote and had Matithia write in the book of Matithia there, Matithia 22:10, side note G4, that would become a tree of mixture on the hill. Here at the house of Yahshua, we're about 3/4 of a mile to the east of that hill. This is the east sheep gate that Yahshua enters in through, as it's prophesied. It's not overseas. The scripture says the law and the prophets would leave Zion and go to the west. And if you put your finger on a globe and go with the longitude lines, or latitude lines, the longitude lines there, you're going to end up in Clyde, Texas. And this is where the seventh era, represented on the menorah, is at this time. We're continuing in Israel's work. The light of the seventh era, that seventh lampstand never goes out. That light never goes out. It was a law and a rule. The statute of the priests were to never allow that light to go out. And we are the priest of Yahshua, the order of Melchizedek. The two witnesses that are coming to you today. Again, I was sent by Yahshua, a man, the same man that appeared to Shaul and appeared to over 500 others in the book of Corinthians there, 1st and 2nd Corinthians. And in many other places, several other places in the life-giving scriptures where Yahshua appeared. Yahshua is a man, and the earth was created for man. He's walked the earth for over 2,000 years. And this is the great secret that has been revealed right now. He revealed himself to me, and he's revealed himself to others on that hill. He has Malachim, legions, he said, in the heavens when the disciples questioned him about what was occurring in his life. He said, I could call down legions to save me and call me up to Father Yahweh's throne. How many more after 2,000 years walking the earth does he have, doing the work to spread the message of the kingdom of Yahshua? So I was sent by Yahshua to those wicked men on the hill the house of Yahweh Hallel on the hill, of which Hosea spoke of, has become the house of Beth Awen, the house of the gods. 3 factions, the city divided into 3, with your Orthodox Catholics, your Jesuits, and your Masonic Egyptian Rite, mystery religion, 3 frog man, evil spirit man there that had a frog on the hill. One of the men there, one of the priests of Baal, of Yahweh Hallel, his their first sons, had a demon frog beat at his window because he seeks those spirits on his computer every day of the week, and looks to bring forward only some numeric or numerology or astronomy or something, astrology or something to that effect, seeking after a sign. But so I am that Micaiah of Revelation 12, and my Malachim, 7 thunders, have joined themselves to this house and this work, all represented on the menorah, and we have been instructed to bring to you today some very deep law and prophets. So in saying these things, we're going to go ahead and honor our King and High Priest Yahshua. Now, as a disclaimer, all we do here at the house of Yeshua, the house of Micaiah Eternal, is bring forward the law and the prophets and our King, first and foremost, we bring forward Yahshua Messiah. Every knee on this earth that's ever lived will bow, and every tongue will confess that Yahshua Messiah is the King of all kings, and that there is no other. And he is the man here at Clyde, in Clyde. The man among us is he who serves. We're going to go ahead and open up with a quick prayer here and reverence our King Yahshua. Yahadin, would you please lead us in a prayer to reverence Yeshua, our King? Do you have any opening statements before we get going, or you want to go ahead and open up and then make a statement? Okay, let's open up and reverence Yeshua.
Father Yahshua, we come before you, trying to bring you forward and thanking you for allowing us to be here and to bring honor to try to bring honor to your name, and give us your wisdom and understanding to bring forth your messages and the prophecies that come forth only from you, and the opening of the seals, and on the meanings of the prophets, and that you allow this to come forward from down here where your family is, the true light that comes only forward from you, Father Yahshua, and that which is your family. And so we honor you and praise you, and we give you all glory and praise, our King Yahshua. It's in your name we pray and ask all these things.
Hallelujah, Yahshua. Praise Yahshua. Hosanna to King Yahshua. So get your pen and paper ready. Again, I am Micaiah Jacob. I am the Micaiah of Revelation 12. Every man must be as a humble bride, humbling themselves to Yahshua, our King, just as we desire our wives to humbly submit to us as we teach them the law and the prophets of Yahshua concerning our King and Yahshua, and these things concerning his family. These things are given to this house, his house, the house of Yeshua first. They're given to Yeshua, and he gives them to his bride and his family first, and they will always proceed out of this throne, the house of Micaiah, eternal, first and foremost. This family, we ahab Yahshua above all else, and we lay everything down at the feet of our King Yahshua. And this is the plan that was from the beginning, that is now, and always shall be. All things written point to one man, and that man is Yahshua, the Messiah. He came 2,000 years ago, 1 Yochanan 5:20. He is come. The next coming is to this location. He's going to descend down out of the hill, off that hill. We have got some powerful stuff. Get your pen and your paper out that you can write it down and retain it. Okay? So we're going to move forward. And before we do, we've got some flowers here that we picked here in the yard here at the house at Abel, the house of Micaiah Eternal. We're going to sound the shofar, the trumpet. This is the trumpet. I am the trumpeter, and I am the watchman who has sounded the warning and the alarm. And this is going to be a law. This is Yeshua's law and prophecy class, and this is going to be a warning for his immediate family, the elect and remnant of the seventh era, and those abroad who want to come and join in this work. Okay? Praise Yahshua. Now what we're going to do now is we are going to jump into the book of Psalms. And Yadin, teacher's been teaching me. And everything David said, it was a prophecy. Everything he wrote, all his songs, all his poems, everything that is written is prophetic. Though King David in the book of Psalms wrote prophecies, most of which point to events that are now unfolding in real time within the internal immediate family of the seventh era of the house of Yahweh, all the players being within. Pastor, the seventh Malach, continuously teaching us, Yisrael teaching us that the players' names are written in the book of Revelation and all throughout the scriptures, and what their deeds were and what they did, whether they were bringing forward Yahshua or not. And those things are written. So now please be turning over to Psalms chapter 19. And we're going to be covering verses 1 through 6. And we're going to dissect those verses 1 through 6 because they are powerful and they contain a lot. Those 6 verses alone contain thousands of sermons. But we're going to push through the things that Yeshua wanted us to share with you. And we're going to be starting on page, where are we at, Yadin? What page are we at there, Yadin?
I believe it's 441. 441.
441. And Yeshua told me to be looking at numbers backwards. And that would be 144. So this is pertaining to the final sealing up of that final 144 frequency. So 441. And we got to get going here. We've got some ground to cover. So let's get these dudes on here, because we are about to dive into some really beautiful things here. All right, I'm there, Yahdin. So I'm going to have Yahdin read. He really reads with authority and power. And then we're going to be chain referencing. Now, I am the Moloch in Revelation 12 with the key. And they said that I'd made myself into a god because Yahweh and Yahshua gave me a 1074 key that was given to me by them. I had someone go in the store to get a lock, and the key was behind the lock. We know that testimony there. And Yeshua himself gave me the chain. And that chain, just as it's written, is in my possession, and I'm the steward and the manager over these things in my hand. And that chain just simply represents the teaching and the chain references. So get your pen and paper and reference these things. Yahdin, we're on page 441 in the book of Psalms. This is important. This is the warning for the immediate family on the hill at the house of Yahweh, where there is a tree of mixture now that you must come out of. The family of Yahshua must come out and be separate, set apart for a life-giving use, that you do not partake of their sins and receive of these plagues that are now upon you all. Go ahead, Yahdin, and start us out there in verse 1.
Verse 1, and before I get on,
yes.
I just wanted to make one point that the greatest teacher in the world is Yahshua, and our King, and regardless of any, there are teachers under Yahshua, but Yahshua certainly is the greatest teacher there is. Okay, Psalm 19, verse 1. Heaven's messengers proclaim the glory of Yahshua, and the expanse of the sky declares the works of his hands. Day after day, speech is uttered, and night after night, knowledge is shown.
Now, go ahead, Yahdin. What are you?
The uttering is what's coming forward from down here. Day and night, this house, the light that's coming forward from this family down here is what it's talking about here in this chapter 19 here. The light, and we'll go on to show you how that is confirmed here. Day after day, speech is uttered, and night after night, knowledge is shown. There is no speech nor language where the words are not heard. This is going out in the sea of glass. This is going out. There's no place this isn't being heard. Their witness goes out through all the earth in their story, the story of Yahshua, our King. And if you read there, the word A is of, their story of, or to the end. And the B footnote is meaning the count of the Omer. That is signifying here when it says here, the next verse here, end of the world. And that start in that time frame, on the timeline, that it coincides with the count of the Omer from down here.
Now you know the when. Now you know the when, because it just doesn't say the count of the Omer there inside note B. It shows Yahshua Messiah is coming. But come, the bride says, the house of Micaiah Eternal says, and let us reason together the line upon line and the precept upon precept. Yahshua is come. First Yachanan 5:20, 2,000 years ago. He's been ascending and descending. He has legions upon legions of Malachim throughout the earth, guiding the plan to seal up the final 144,000 frequency of men of his choice. The final ones and the last who'll be first of the very few fine flower on the hill who will believe without singing come out. The bride comes out, goes out to meet the bridegroom. This shows Yeshua's coming to here. He calls me on the phone. He's no taller than I am when we talk about the prophetic work that Micaiah will be doing in Revelation 12 with his Malachim. Those seven thunders represented on the menorah. Yahweh and Yahshua do not honor dead men and women. They are living, 7 living men and women who are alive in the message that have joined themselves to this house that's been set up for you by Yahshua. Okay? Now, keep those things in mind. That side note B there is showing his coming here to this location here. He's already here. There's no other place he could be, Yechezkiah chapter 7 there in the side note says. When he descends down out, and we're going to cover these things. So there's that side note. That end to the end is of the end of the world. Have you ever heard the old adage, my world came crashing down on top of me? Your world on the hill is now going to, the 3.5 years, the 1,260, I've already told you this, is up on 418. 30 more days is 518, the 5th Omer. The way the Passover is to be kept with 13 moons. In 2024, they thought themselves able to change the law and the times and the seasons and threw out a 13th moon. And their feast on that hill, El, Yahweh Hillel, the house of mixture, Matitya 22:10, side note G4. Even in my father's own house, Yahshua said, that leadership crept in, those wicked beastmen of Daniel 8 and Revelation chapter 17, and they're now throwing out men under the altar, meaning they thinking they're killing them, but they're not. You can't throw any Yahweh or Yeshua out of anyone. So what's going on that hill is wickedness. They thought to throw their brother out, but I am the house of Yahshua, the house of the living Father. And wherever we go, there also will be a house, those who carry the covenant within them, Yahshua Messiah being that covenant. And every day and night in this house, all throughout the day, constantly, and everywhere we go, we are uttering speech about Yahshua our King, constantly meditating on his law and prophets. Okay? Now, we're going to go on here. We are in...
we're in verse 4.
Verse 4.
And then it continues on. It says, in them he has set up a house. And we look at the number 1 on the side there. That we're looking at that. And that's to be brilliant. House of brilliant. And the house for the light. The light there is shown. The brilliance there, it says family. If you look on the side footnote, that's the family coming out from down here. It's the them. It says he comes forth like a bridegroom. In them, he has set up a house. That's his family for the light. Family. The family are those that Yahshua has given the understanding coming from only Yahshua through under his servant Micaiah to instruct you and what you should do and how you need to serve and obey Yahshua. So going on.
Now also there, now remember, it's according to the Omer count. Is it the fake feast on the hill Omer count? No.
No.
That Omer count begins here at sunset on 5/13. It's sunset on 5/13, sunset, yes, on 5/13 going into 5/14. 5/13 is the Seder meal, and then going into it, that Omer count will begin. Okay? So that is that Omer count. We see his coming off the hill to this location in the delivery time period because the 3.5 years is up. It's up. 4/13 this year is exactly 31.5 years from. It's 28 years exactly from 97, 4/13 of 97, 28, which is divisible by 3. It's also coming up in 5 moons from there. 4/13 would be 9/13, 9/12, when the Oslo Accord went into effect. And then 10/13 when, 9/12 when it was signed and agreed to, and 10/13 when it went into effect. So if you go from 5/13, Seder here, the real Passover, and you go 5 moons of war, which we're heading into, they're going to be enraged because the events coming are going to push the body to come out of the deception and the plague of darkness that you're all in. That's one of the 7 plagues. Into this house of light that Yeshua has set up for you all. So Keep these things in mind in your mind as we move forward.
Verse 5, he comes forth, it's talking about Yahshua.
Now that light, remember that reference, that chain reference for that light in verse 4, excuse me, Yadin, let's back up because it's referencing us to Matithia 5. So we turn over to Matithia 5, 14 through 16. So we're in Matithia chapter 5, and it says, Yeshua speaks here. He says, you are the light of the world. The light of the world brings forward the light, Yahshua Messiah. Lamb's Book of Life, or the Book of Life, Pastor wrote in there all the 7 lights in one complete family. The 7 eras represent Yahshua. And only the elect and the remnant, the small groups from each one of those eras. Because the wicked crept in 6 times, yes, even now 7, is coming to a completion. You're the light of the world. A city. There's that word, city. Which is set on a hill, cannot be hidden. Remember that word city, because that's mentioned in Moshe chapter 3, and we're going to cover that momentarily. And it's also mentioned in Revelations 18, a city, which is set on a hill. When you see one word in one place, brethren, you better be looking for that word in another. This is the line upon line. We're showing you. This is your warning. These calamities and plagues that are written, Yahweh does not lie. The judgment and the sentencing begins at the house of Yahweh Hallel on the hill. It is being cleansed and purged, and it is written that by the end of the 6.3, beginning at the beginning of the Oslo Accord being signed back into effect in 2019, 6.3, as Daniel said in the side note, 2,300 evenings and mornings and evenings, ends at Tabernacle's last great day this year. Everyone will have been gathered here and kept the Tekufa season under this rod, in this house of the light of Yahshua. A city set upon a hill, doing wicked deeds against Yahshua, claiming that Hallel has the winnowing shovel in her hand, is doing the separating, cannot be hidden. Neither do men light a lamp, Yahshua, and it gives no light to all who are in and it gives light to all who are in the house. They don't hide it under a basket, but put it on a lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light, let Yahshua, so shine before men so they might see your righteous works in teaching these sure and true prophecies to others. And glorify your Father Yahshua, who is in heaven, the house of Yahweh. There's your note right there. Your chain reference note for that footnote, for that light. So we can keep that word city in your mind. Because Moshe in Revelations makes mention of chapter 18, chapter 3 of Moshe, in Revelation 18. And we'll cover those things momentarily. Now we're at verse 5. Go ahead, Yahadin.
He comes forth like a bridegroom, that's talking about Yahshua, from his canopy, and his place, and he rejoices like a champion to run a race. Verse 6, his going forth is from the end of the heavens, and his feast circuit, the Tekufa, and his feast circuit is not a feast, a fake feast. He's talking about a real feast down here. He's talking about the Tekufa to their ends, and it's talking about it shows Yahshua is coming. That's the count of the Omer.
It says the Omer count again. That's twice. In verses 1 through 6, Psalm verses 1 through 6 on page 441 in your life-giving book of Yahweh Yahshua.
And no one is hidden from his wrath.
His judgment. Now, his judgments. No one can be hidden from these plagues that are coming. Because the time has come, and we're going to go over that the dead should be sentenced. And we're going to go over these scriptures, okay?
And it says there, his wrath to be, and if you look at B, that's the count of the Omer that's going to be occurring during the count of the Omer.
Twice he speaks of the Omer count. Twice. The real Omer count here at the house of Yahshua. There are 13 moons in every year. In 2024, they put out a calendar that went for several months, and they saw some green ears on the ground and threw out a moon. and set their feasts that are an abomination and a stench in Yahshua and Yahweh and Yahshua's nostrils a moon ahead in 2024. They are a moon ahead of themselves. They're keeping a first moon now, and we are in the 13th moon of the two witnesses right now, in the middle of it. All of you on the hill, go out tonight and look toward the east and look over this house, and you will see 3 stars that are brilliant and bright here, and they look like the belt of Orion. But then I want you to look to the west, to the southwest, and you will see the belt of Orion. These 3 stars, the one that shimmers to the west. This house is surrounded by legions of heavenly malachim, hosts. Not one blade of grass, not one thing can be harmed inside these gates. The heavenly malachim have surrounded it. Look, and behold those 3 stars that look like they're, as they try to disguise themselves, like they're in the belt of Orion formation. Now look at that. Now, this word here in verse 6, the ends, that's the Omer count, shows Yeshua's coming. He's already come. First Yachanan 5:20, all the ones he's revealed himself. He revealed himself to me. He had a DNA change occur that he said occurred within me. And he healed and I had a healing crisis, and I was blinded. He told me what to do, to drink walnut tincture. I did it, and I was instantly healed. Instant healing. He has that authority and power, and only he has it. Now, we're now in verse 6, it says, to their ends. His feasts are to their ends. Whose ends?
It's the Omer.
The ends of the ones, the wicked on the hill. The end of the ones, the wicked on the hill, to their ends. And no one, how do we know it's speaking of them? Because it has a comma and said no one is hidden from his judgments and sentencing. And look at that footnote 2b. It refers us to Revelation. What is that there, Yadin? 2b at the bottom?
2b, that's...
Revelations 11. Yeremiah, let's go to Yeremiah 23:19 first. Yeremiah, turn over with us. Stay with us now. There is going to be no doubt. This is your warning. Yeremiah 23. Quickly with me here. Yeremiah 23. Okay. And we're looking at verse 19. Now listen, because there are a lot of different plagues that are coming, 7. And they're pronounced by the 7 malachim, the 7 trumpets, girded in gold vests. Yahadin's is on the way. Now, we're here in Yeremiah 23 on page 592, and it reads, Yahadin, read it. You're there? I'll read it.
Go ahead and read it.
Behold, a whirlwind of Yahshua has gone forth in fury, even a grievous whirlwind. It will fall grievously upon the head of the wicked. Verse 20, the anger, the judgment of Yahshua will not return until he has executed and performed the thoughts of his heart in the latter days. Now we got the wind. Now this is Psalms 119, 1 through 6. He's giving us the prophecy here of this house set up for the light. He's also giving us the one that is showing the end there in the book of Psalms. He's showing their end there, okay? You in the latter days, you will understand it perfectly. Why? Because you now have the Micaiah of Revelation 12 in my family teaching it to you. Yeshua is giving this to me, telling me to give it to you. I would have went to work this morning, but this is my work. It is my work to do. I must be about my Father Yeshua's work and business. I'm consumed with it. We're uttering this every day and night, Psalm says, okay? So we see there in Psalms there where we see there in Psalms 19 where it's mentioned in 2b it takes you, when we look at that word in verse 6, his wrath is judgment. We know that word. Pastor taught us was judgment. It takes us to Jeremiah 23:19 that speaks of the latter days, and he will execute these judgments upon who?
And when is that going to occur? That's going to occur during
The Omer count. Twice in 1 through 6, he shows it. It's so wonderful. Now, these prophecies, as a disclaimer, are only for the 5 wives on Yahweh Hallel who are going to come out with the bridegroom and the bride when they come out. Sitting and waiting does not secure you, because no one gets to choose when these things come except Yahshua occur. He's already come, and it's written they're going to come now.
And notice it says no one is hidden from his wrath, and that
you can't hide.
During that count of the Omer,
they will say, "Hide us from the face of him who sits upon the throne." 3-4. You cannot.
The count of the Omer is the real count down here, not up there on their fake feast.
No. So Revelations, now the second chain reference, the Moloch with the chain in his hand. Little children, Ahab you all. This is Ahab from Yahshua.
Why do you think that his wrath is said that his wrath is because of what they're doing there?
Constantly, night after night, day after day is why his judgment has come. For 3.5 years, we've done these things on your behalf and come to you on your behalf.
He takes no pleasure in their fake feast, their stench in his nostrils.
So there, that next verse is Revelation 18. 11, 18. And that is on page 978 in your book of Yahweh Yahshua. And it reads, "In the nations, all represented on the hill, Yahweh Hillel." I'm going to teach you 22:10, side note G4. "And the nations were angry. And I've marked so many notes. And your wrath is come, your judgment." Wow. Now this is the reference from Psalms 1 through 6. "And the time," the 3.5 years is over. That first 3.5 is done on 4/18. You back up from the real 13 moons, and then the Omer count of 1290, the 5th Omer, you back up 30 days is 1260. That is in the book of Revelation. She was given 1,260 days being taught and an opportunity to repent. She was given 10 years. That was up until 97, which brings you exactly 28 years divided by 3.5. From 93, when it was signed into effect, is 31.5. Another number divisible by 3.5. The time is no more. This is your warning. This is the house that has been set up for the light, Yahshua and his family. Again, and the nations were angry that your judgment is come. In the time of the dead, the spiritually dead on the hill, the twice dead, that they should be sentenced, whether to life eternal or to these plagues that will befall them, and there will be weeping and wailing because they will sustain a loss, the scripture says. And that you should give reward to your servants, the prophets, who prophesy and glorify Yahshua. All prophecy pointing to one man and his family and kingdom without end. And to all the saints and to those who reverence your name. The name of the Creator and the authority is Yahshua. Both small, the insignificant layman, and the great, the house of the great, the 10,000 who will fall at my right hand, says Yahshua Almighty, and should destroy those who destroy the earth. Yahshua is going to allow their destruction to come. And if we back up here, the house of Yahweh, or go forward to verse 19, all this house has been made open to you all. We've not spoken in secret, and there were voices and thunderings, 7 thunders, and an earthquake and great hail. And those things are yet to come. But there we saw that whirlwind. So now we're back on page 441, and we're going to dissect it even more. We're going to start back at verse 1. If you do not know that we are Yahshua's messengers by now, and those gathered here, that we are testifying on behalf of Yahshua with those testimonies in Revelations 12, the way you overcome with the testimonies of Yeshua. And that he and everyone who gathers here are my Malachim. Something is wrong with your brain. We are Yeshua's messengers, and we proclaim Yeshua's glory. He is the glory of Yah, the Creator. And the expanse of the sky and the works of Yeshua's hands declare who he is. Look at the healing and the resurrecting that he's done throughout his life and all the things that he set up using Malachim, leading up to this point that you would come out away from the plague of darkness that you're in. Now, to lay groundwork, I called Yazalia, the prophetess. I called one of the 7 Malachim, one of the 7 thunders, and I was rejoicing with him. And I said to him, my most son, I want you to really look at this and study it out. My most liked scripture is Psalms 19, 7 through 11. And I had this memorized there where it speaks of the law and the prophets and how they're perfect. And how the prophecies are to be more desired than honey. And by them, yes, even the honey comes sweeter. And how we're warned by these prophecies. You're being warned. This is your warning. And I look back to these verses and Yeshua triggered all this. It's according to the Omer count. Twice he said it. Right here. Now stay with us. This is only as a disclaimer for the believer. And all we're doing is bringing forth the sure, irrefutable, undeniable law and prophets. This is your law and prophet class from Yahshua. Now, verse 2. I was reading this. Day after day speech is uttered. And Pastor said when you see one word, it should trigger something somewhere else. So, day after day speech is uttered. The 7 thunders uttered. That's Revelation 10 in verse 4. So I turned over there. Let's be turning over to Revelation 10, 4. Drop your 0. That's 14. Wow, that's my number. Yeshua looked at me and said, your number's 14, Makai. But let's look over there, Revelation 10 in verse 4. 10 in verse 4. And that's found on page 977. I would like for you to read that, Yahadin. Revelations 10 in verse 4. On page 977 for your notes. Keep that place held in Psalms 19, excuse me.
And when the 7 thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write, but I heard a voice from heaven saying to me, seal up those things which the 7 thunders uttered, and do not write them. The 7 thunders are the seven individuals that from down here in Yahshua's family. The 7 thunders, the 7 utters, the utterings, it all comes forward in the group of...
There are 6 others who have joined themselves to this work with me.
And the 7 Malachim, the 7 thunders, the 7 utters, the 7 thunders, that's the 21. That is showing
777. 7 utters, that 7 thunders, 7 Malachim, 777. Now, I went there and I remember Pastor's words. And I looked back a verse. And it says, and cried with a loud voice as when a lion roars. He cried with a loud voice trying to warn his family that he hogged. These plagues are coming and judgment and sentencing begins at the house of Yahweh. First, you cannot be dead in Messiah unless you have first taken on a written baptismal covenant and are asleep, slumbering in darkness. This is the first resurrection. So it triggered that thought. Now, there's that word lion. Where would I go where that word lion is written in other places in the life-giving scriptures?
Remember Hosea talked about when he roars.
And we will. We're going back.
And Micaiah is bringing it forward as the lion under Yeshua. So he is bringing forward the lion now.
And we're going to get more into that. But let's back up because we need this to show some attention. Yahadin, would you please start there? Turn over to 977 there in the book of Revelations, please. And I'm going to have Yadin read this, because it's very important. This is your warning. We're coming to you with a final warning. With a final warning that you must repent. You must come out away from those wicked men on the hill who are leading you, going on their own fake vision and fake false feasts that are a stench in the nostrils. You cannot throw out moons. Now, 10 and verse 1. Let's read that whole chapter. Revelations chapter 10. Please, Yadin, read.
Okay. All right, we're going on now to Revelations 10. And it says, this is when the 7th trumpet sounds. It says, and I saw another mighty mallet come down from heaven.
That's the house of Yahweh. He came down. They thought to cast him out, but he came down.
Clothed with a cloud.
Huh? Clothed with what, Yadin? What? Cloud white? Okay.
And a rainbow was upon his head.
Right, he had a rainbow on his head. A rainbow, a rain straight sash.
And his face was, as it were, the sun. And
the face, as it were, was the sun. Remember, she's clothed in the sun in Revelation 12, where my name is Micaiah and my Malachim. Revelation 12 and verse 7. Micaiah and my Malachim, a faithful, humble bride to Yahshua. And clothed in the sun, his face were, as it were, the sun. He is the face of Yahshua. Brethren, you are Yahshua. You better be Yahshua. This is the lighthouse. This is your warning. This is your Psalms 1 through 6, and the Omer count will begin here. You have 30 days to come out and partake of the real second Passover, which is the first Passover. It'll be your second because you blasphemed.
And his feet.
Now, he as the sun. His face, one of the 4 cherubim had the face of a man. Does this look like the face of a man? This is Yeshua's face. These are his hands. He bought and paid for us. Are you doing the works of Yahshua, who bought and redeemed and paid for you? Are you casting it as nothing, his sacrifice? The sun, my face is as Yahshua's. I glorify Yahshua. And his feet, go ahead, Yadin.
And his feet as pillars of fire.
His feet were as his pillars of fire. Gold that he swore on his feet. Didn't Micaiah in chapter 5, I believe, 4 or 5 there, 4 verse 5, chapters 4 and 5 say his feet were like bronze? Doesn't Revelation chapter 1 said his feet were like feet of gold? You're written in the book of Revelations. Pastor and Yahshua didn't do all this. This is the beauty and the glory he's trying to bestow upon you all. That those wicked beast men of Daniel chapter 8, yes, even the 4 apocalyptic horsemen in Zechariah chapter 1 and in Revelation 17, want you all to be afraid of this glorious day of Yahshua.
And he had a little book open in his hand.
He had a little book open in his hand, where he was told by Yahshua, gave him his book of life, the Lamb's book of life, to start writing names. The first 7 names of those 7 thunders who believe without seeing. He told me to start writing names in a manifesto here. Here's your little book. Go ahead.
And he set his right foot upon the sea. That's on the sea
Teach
of glass.
Teach him that one, please. You have that great understanding on that.
That's the sea of glass. He's setting his foot on the sea of glass, bringing it out to you there.
Verse 1, Revelation.
His left foot on the earth. That's on the sea of glass going out to the nations also. And cried with a loud voice as when a lion roars. Okay? When it said, talk about in Hosea.
When a lion roars. This is your warning! Behold, now comes all the plagues upon you suddenly. You shall be thrust into thick darkness if you do not repent and come away from wicked beast men. This is the house set up for the light. It begins at the Omer count here. Go forward, Yahadin.
And when he cried 7 thunders from down here, those 7 that he just told you about, written in the book there, uttered their voices. They were in agreement with the prayers with Yahshua under his servant with Micaiah.
And I vow by heaven and earth, and I vow by him who created heaven and earth, Yahweh, that these are the sure prophecies, and this is the plan, and there is no other.
And when the seven thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write, but I heard a voice from heaven saying to me, seal up those things which the seven thunders uttered, and do not write them.
Uttered. This all comes from that word, uttered.
And the Malach which I saw,
looking back, like Pastor said, a verse from 10:4. We saw that 10:4, and then we saw that 3. Now go ahead.
And the Malach which I saw standing upon the sea and upon the earth,
sea of people on the hill and upon the earth the nations,
lifted up his hand to heaven. He's lifting up his hand to heaven, and he vows by him. He's vowing by
Yahshua. By Yahshua.
By Yahshua.
He sent me to you to tell you what I'm telling you, all people on the hill.
Yahshua, who lives forever and ever, who created heaven and the things that are in it, and the earth and the things that are in it, and the sea, the nations and the people on the hill, and the things which are in it, that there should be time no longer.
There shall be time no more. Your 3.5 is up. 4:13. Yes, even 4:18.
But in the days of the voice of the seventh Malach, when he will begin to sound.
This is the days I'm sounding, in the days of Israel.
It says, in the days of the voice of the seventh Malach, when he will begin to sound the great secret. If you look at J there on the footnote there, that's going. We're going to go on here when we finish chapter 10 here in Revelations. We're going to come back to the footnote here. That's Moshe 3, 6, and 7, 1 Corinthians 15:51, and Revelations 10:11.
Remember that footnote J. We're coming back to it once we read through chapter 10.
We're going to go on to Moshe and 1 Corinthians in there, and to Revelations 10. Okay, so but in the days of the voice of when he will begin to sound, the great secret would be finished. He just got through telling you, it's no longer. It's
no more.
It's finished. It's
the last 3.5 was up of playtime. No more playtime. Time is over.
Because your fake feast up there.
Because of what the wicked leadership thought they could throw out a moan.
As he declared to his servants, the prophets, and the voice which I heard from heaven spoke to me again.
From the house of Yahweh, 20 years going on now. I was there, have been there, never failed to keep a Sabbath ever, and served them both night and day diligently.
And said, go take the little book which is open in the hand of the Malach who stands upon the sea and upon the earth. That's Micaiah.
Because of this message, they hated their brother. They hated Yahshua first, and it's repeating again, they hate me. First, I testify on Yahshua's behalf and on your behalf. Come out from among them and be set apart. Go ahead.
And I went to the Malach and said to him, give me the little book. And he said to me, and that was the
little book.
And that was for the names. And he said, take it and eat it up, and it will make your stomach bitter, but it will be sweet as honey in your mouth.
Remember what's sweet as honey? The prophecies, the law and the prophecies. If they speak not, magnify and extol and expound as a householder who brings out of the treasury of his house, Matthew 13 and 52.
And the honey that
no light in them.
The honey, the golden oil.
34:16.
The honey, the golden oil. Those that have the light, they're the honey, the golden oil, and those are those there. And it said to eat it up, and that's what the understanding that's coming forward down here from Micaiah. And those that bring forward Yahshua down here, the golden oil, the honey, that those that are the family down here have taken from the teachings and are bringing forward our King Yahshua there. And it will make the stomach bitter, but it will be sweet as honey in your mouth. That's the understanding. And I took the little book out of the Malach's hand and ate it up. And it was sweet as honey in my mouth.
Take this out of my hands. Take this message and eat it up. you better partake of this meat.
And the honey there was also the names that were written in there, the golden oil, those that had the golden oil, the light in there.
This way a little bit, please.
And I took the little book out of the Malik's hand and ate it up, and it was sweet as honey in my mouth. And as soon as I'd eaten it, my stomach was bitter.
Because you're convicted that this is the truth and the plan and there is no other.
And he said to me, you must prophesy again before many people.
Many people, Daniel. They will go out to many deceivers, many on the hill. This is talking first and foremost. That has to be sealed up first. All judgment and sentencing. The time of the spiritually dead has come, 11:18, we just covered in Revelation. Their time to be judged and sentenced, whether to life eternal or to death and damnation, is come. It's come. Okay? Now, before many people, as they go out on the sea of glass and have, before many people, we are prophesying as well, before the many. Now, I'm prophesying to the many on the hill, the majority, because it's a very small little feeble remnant and flock, Isaiah said, to come off that hill. 1/3 are slain by this message. That's the parallel in Revelations to the 1/3 slain there. We'll cover that. Go ahead. To nations.
And nations and languages and kings. So
all different languages I know. It's up there 20 are on the hill. Now enter the sanctuary, the kings and queens. Only Yahshua sets up kings and deposes kings and queens. And anyone who claims herself to be a king or queen shall not be. But if Yahshua does it, you will be forever. You keep that white garment of humility on. Now, back to verse.
Now we're going back to
verse 3. No. Back to verse 3.
Okay.
Or to J. We're going now. Remember what he said there. He cried with a loud voice. Are you going to cover verse 3 first? No, or are you going to that J? I know you're going to.
I'm just going to the J, but you can cover that.
No.
Back to it.
Let's go to the J first. No, I want to do it the way you want to do it, but I want everybody to keep them on track. We're going to emotion now.
Yeah,
now, what we're doing is we've got our marker on Psalms 19, 1 through 6. Psalms 19, 1 through 6 were my most liked verse that I've had memorized. I probably could tell you most of it now, 7 through 11. There is my most liked verse, because if a man can have this verse here, he can live life eternal, because they're all pointing to the man who kept these things perfectly. The law, statutes, and ordinances, and the prophecies. These sure prophecies, according to the Omer count, Psalm 1 through 6, hold your place there. It led us over to Revelations in the footnotes. Jeremiah 23:19, giving a wind, the latter days, you'll understand it crystal clear. I am that Moloch in Revelation 10 in the time period of the seventh Moloch, the time period of his voice. And now we're going back. Remember, Yadin said, hold on there in that J that is there in verse 7. Yes?
Yeah.
Verse 7, Revelations 10:7, side note, J takes us to.
We're going to Moshe 3, 6, 7.
In Moshe 3.
Verses 6 and 7.
We'll just read. So let's go.
Let's just start covering the whole thing.
Well, look at that. I turned right over to it. So we're at emotion now. So hold your place there in Psalms. That's our foundation. This is where all this utter, you see that word utter there. We're going to go back to verse 3 in chapter 10 of Revelations. But now we're going to Moshe.
Chapter 3, it says, hear this word.
Chapter 3?
Yes.
And verse 1. We're starting out at verse 1 on page 696 in your book of Yahweh Yahshua. Okay? 696, chapter 3 and verse 1 of Mosiah.
Hear this word which Yahshua has spoken against you. That's you up there on the hill. O children of Israel, against the whole family.
Now this chapter 3, Pastor has made mention of this chapter, verses 3 and 4. Chapter 2 of verse 2, chapter 3 and verse 2 of Moshe is one of the most common scriptures Pastor used. We're all familiar with it. But don't think you can take verse 2 and 3 and throw out the rest of the chapter. He is speaking in the context in this whole chapter to the house of Yisrael Abel Hawkins.
And the parallel there is It's just like it was in Egypt. He said he's talking about the whole family on the parallel from Egypt and on the hill, the family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all families. If you go to the footnote there, G5, I have chosen only you to be mine among all peoples, and yet you have forsaken me. All right? Just as they did when they came out from Egypt, and just like they're doing now up there on the hill, they've forsaken Yahshua.
For their own false, fake, prideful pretense of peace vision. Jeremiah 23 and Daniel chapter 8.
Therefore, you only have I known of all the families there. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. He says he's going to punish you now.
That's Psalms 19, verse 6. The judgment in that time has come. It took us to Revelation 11:18 there. Footnote 2b. Go ahead.
And then verse 3, can two walk together? And the footnote there, G6, here the prophet signifies that he speaks not of himself, but as Yahshua guides and moves him. He signifies that there is perfect agreement between Yahshua and his prophets, because they only speak the word, the law, and the prophets. And then with the on there, it says, unless can two walk together unless they are in agreement. Will a lion roar in the forest? And G7 on the footnote, will Yahshua warn his prophets unless there be some great occasion?
Well, have I not warned you? Have I not roared up and down, O forest? Is my voice not coming in through the gates, into your gate, into your gate, into your gate? Have I not given you the line? Has Yahshua using me as his slave? 1 Corinthians 7:22. An instrument to warn you in a hob? The lion is roaring that you might live.
Will a lion roar in the forest unless he has prey? Will a lion make his voice sound from his den unless he has taken something?
From this den? Unless he has taken something, taken some prey.
The gold and silver off the hill.
The gold and silver's coming here, and I shall place them at the feet of the living Father Yahshua.
In verse 5 now, can a bird fall into a snare on the ground unless a trap has been set for him?
Wow, sounds like Psalm 91 where the delivery, because you've not forgotten Yahweh's name, Yahshua. A snare above the fowler.
In the footnote there, G8 says, can anything come without Yahweh's blessings? And
will a curse causeless come upon you all?
And in the footnote G9, does a trap spring from the earth? In the footnote there, shall Yahweh's warnings be in vain? Up there on the hill, they make all these warnings in vain. Like nothing's going to occur for their disobedience.
Vanity of vanities. The vision, it's not going the way you thought or hoped or think. It will go one man's way in vision. His name is Yahshua Messiah, the man among us who serves. Don't be on the ball. We talk about the work and the worker. Oh, fools and slow of heart, not to believe all that Israel spoke to you. You got one thing right, He-Goat. You are not getting around Israel. I left you Micaiah.
It says, does a trap spring up from the earth unless something has sprung it? Will a trumpet be blown in the city and the people will not be afraid?
Will a trumpet be blown in your city? There's that word city. Remember, 11:18 of Revelation was the footnote in 2b of Psalm 19:6. Will a trumpet be blown and you not reverently fear these prophecies that are coming upon you? On the hill. First, they're going to stand in awe. All eyes are going to be on Yahweh Hallel Hill. All eyes, as it is written.
Will a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? And the footnote there says,
the city on a hill cannot be hidden. Remember that footnote of the light? The light in the Matithia 5, 14-16, and Psalms 19:1-6.
Shall the prophets warn of Yahshua's judgments and the people not be afraid?
Should the prophets warn of the judgment, the wrath, Psalms 19 and verse 6, that has come during this Omer count, and there's time no more, that 3.5 years is over?
The religious imposters up there are telling you not to be afraid. Then we continue in verse 6. Will iniquity fostered by religious imposters be taking place in a city?
There's that city, Revelation 18.
City on the hill?
Where that fire is coming to you all, and it's proceeding out of my mouth, out of his mouth, out of the Darik, the Way's mouth. Everyone here is telling you all, the fire is proceeding out of the two witnesses' mouth. That Revelation fire 18 is coming. And as a disclaimer, all we are doing, and all these think tanks are tuned in now to this, because they know the same as those men who called them on the phone. This is the house of the light of Yahshua. This is the family, the immediate family of Yahweh Yahshua. They are one. And they know, and they're all listening abroad. Every think tank, religious think tank, and political governmental beastly system on the earth is tuned in now.
And Yahshua not also have a righteous work there? The righteous work is down here. Not Bethel or Awen, the house of the wicked, and they're keeping you in the darkness, with no darkness in your minds. They're keeping you without to have that understanding that comes from the law and the prophets. They're keeping you down.
Will you not read, Yadin?
Verse 7, most assuredly, Father Yahshua will have no work. In verse 11, the footnote G11 says, Yahshua does not deal with the Israelites as he does with other people.
With the Israelites.
Because he even warns Israel before the plagues come. You're being warned.
Israel, you're being warned. This was my work to do. My son's gonna come prophesying. It's even prophesied in the book of Yael. Who else would be doing it but the sons of Yahshua? The sons of Israel are the sons of Yahshua.
He will have no other work that he has prophesied in advance. By his, he has no other work. That's meaning just this is the only work he has from here, not up there. Work, and he has prophesied in advance by his servants the prophets. The lion has roared.
The lion has roared in your hearing this day.
Who will not fear?
That you could chain that over to Revelations 10 and verse 3. Also, Rev 10:3, chain it over to Hosea. We're going to go there momentarily, I guess. Or
it's Hosea 11:10.
11 and verse 10 for your chain reference there of the lion. And then go to those places and chain it back to Moshe 3 and 8.
Moshe 3
and 8. All this is coming from utter, the word utter, in Psalm 19 in verse 2 and 1 through 6 of Psalms 19.
And
okay?
That side footnote in J in Revelations 10.
In Revelations 10, where it takes us to there, it takes us to in Revelations there with that word utter to 10:4 of Revelations, looking back a verse to 10:3, the utters. Then for your sakes, showing where this is coming from, all of chapter 10 there, and then 10:7 expressly footnote J proves Psalms 1 through 6 is a tapestry, the line upon line for the plan. This is how you get the plan. All during the Omer count in the latter days. Because Psalm 1 through 6 there in 2b, in that judgment that he just read, will you not be warned in advance of these judgments?
And then it says...
takes you to Rehemiah 23:19, and it says you will understand it crystal clear in the latter days. Are you understanding it crystal clear? We're in the book of emotion now. All this coming from Psalms. Go ahead, Yadin.
Okay, so we read in verse 8, the lion has roared, who will not fear. Father Yahshua has spoken, but who can prophesy? The footnote on G12 says, because the people ever murmured against the prophets. They're always talking against what the Yahshua's work down here, murmuring against it.
All those leaders should have goofy tattooed on their foreheads. Pride. Goofy pride.
He shows, and this is G12 here on the footnote, he shows that these prophets were truly inspired by Yahshua, and that Yahshua's spirit moved them to speak, and they did. And that's what's
That was the first scripture Yeshua gave to me. Revelation 19:10. that the testimonies of Yahshua, the testifying on Yeshua's behalf, is a spirit of prophecy. He had it in his wallet, his billfold, pulled it out, a little tiny piece of paper. At the very beginning, when they thought to throw their brother out 3.5 years ago. Go ahead.
And verse 9, published in the palaces at Ashdod and in the house of the land.
I have published on the sea of glass. I have written. We've put songs together on your behalf. We're going to cover that soon.
That's to the nations. That's the B on there on palaces in the land of Egypt. And say, assemble yourselves on the mountains of Samaria, and behold the great tumults, turmoil and destruction within her, and the oppressions in her midst. That's what the wicked priests are doing to
that too of the mountains is the way of the oppressors that want to keep you from being part of bringing forward Yeshua and glorifying him, saying he's come as Pastor did. They won't allow you to say that. You say that. Try their spirit. Test the spirits of that leadership. Glorify Yeshua all day in their presence. Smile in their face and tell them how wonderful Yahshua is all day long. 50 times each one of you do that in their faces. Watch how long they allow you to remain. They hate the only man that is the way, the truth, and the life, and the resurrection. They hate him. That's the proof of their spirit and their fruit. They cannot bring him forward.
Then verse 10.
And it shows there in 2b, mark their ways. Mark their way. But Yeketskis told the man with the inkhorn that I wear on my collar every day for 18 years, as Pastor said a guard should, to mark them in their forehead, those who believe into this message. That's that 2b. This is how deep it all goes. Mark them who groan inside. Mark those who groan for Yahshua. Go ahead.
Verse 10, for they, up there on the hill, do not know to do righteousness. They bring forward the Buffaloid agenda, dancing around, ring around the rosy for the Catholic Church and the gods and the Baal, the house of Beth Arwen up there, their connections. For they do not know to do righteousness, says Yahshua. They who store up violence, and that's weapons for war, they're going out on the sea of glass trying to stir up the nations to war. That's the reminders.
Instead of teaching them Yahshua and bringing forth life, we set before you life. They set before you death.
Violence and robbery in their
these
palaces.
where you can escape and live from the plague and the destruction that's going to befall because of wicked men leading on the hill Yahweh Hillel. This is Matthew 22 side note G4. That tree of mixture on the hill. Go ahead.
You store up violence.
Robbery. They come and watch what's on the sea of glasses. Every one of those wicked bastards will listen to this sermon on that hill, and they'll try to twist it around and place it in the mind of the children who aren't tuned into it. To make wars, they offer them up to Molech and place them at the lectern, again planting seeds in all of your precious minds. Here in your secret place that you must guard, that golden bowl, so that you would hate Yeshua the way those wicked men do. Go ahead.
Verse 11, therefore, this is what Father Yahshua says, an adversary is surrounding the land.
They are the adversary.
He will bring down your strength from you, and your palaces will be plundered. And the footnote there, the same will come to pass as in the days of Cain, when there was murder and all the other bad things that occurred, because they weren't listening.
You're being plundered from all the wisdom and all the knowledge that Yeshua gave to pastor so that they can cover in a veil and a cloak. Also, that word plundered. For your chain reference, Isaiah 13 and Zechariah chapter 14. Those two chapters cover what's coming. It's speaking to the house of Israel in both of those chapters. But all the prophets were pleading with the seventh era being given. We taught them all, brother, from Adam all the way down in dreams and visions. We taught them all. Will you be one who comes here and glorifies Yahshua, who is sent back, transcending space and time in a dream and in a vision that they wrote about you in here? Well, your name's in there, what you done, what you did, what you gonna do. They saw us teaching. They wrote about us and what was occurred. So because our forefathers, but not them out there, yes, them out there, but they're not under judgment right now in sentencing. The time has come. Right there during the Omer count, we saw it's in the latter days, in the book of Jeremiah 23, Psalms 19, 1 through 6, 2b, footnote 2b, where it says wrath and judgment. You're getting all of this from that 2b. Jeremiah 23:10, all of it. Even the word utter in Psalms 1 and 19 in verse 2. The word utter, and then again utter in Revelations 10 and verse 3. Put it all together. You listen to this sermon over and over and over. Go ahead.
Verse 12, this is what Yahshua says. As a shepherd snatches two legs from the jaws of the lion.
The decrepit, beastly lion. Who says no one will stop us.
Or a piece of an ear, so will the children of Israel who live in Samaria be rescued.
By Yahshua, certain ones will be. Certain ones will be. Go ahead.
Those who sit in Samaria on the edge of their beds. Those that are in fear and trembling, hoping to get out from over there under that wicked leadership and will do what's right. And in Damascus on their couches. Those that or in
rescue areas. Those who'll sit and rescue in other areas on their couches. Well, here we sit on the couch and we've told you you are spiritual Damascus, but you fear and tremble in your mama's cat house tonight and sit there. Mama, this is it. This is right. This is correct. You sit there like this on your mama's couch with your sissy and go, man, this is serious. This is it. This is all of it's prophesied. Look, everything from the floor, the scales of justice. Do I need to pick them up and put them in my hand? I've done that before. The mullet with the scales in his hand. I've done it before. This is it. This is the plan that was from the beginning, that is and always shall be, and there is no other. You're being warned. Go ahead.
Hear this and testify against the house of Yaakov.
Verse 13, Moshe chapter 3, verse 13.
Says Father Yahshua, the mighty one of hosts, that in the day I visit, punish the transgressions of Israel upon him, and that's there on the hill. I will also visit, destroy the altars of Bethel. That's the Beth Arwen. The horns of the altar will be cut off and fall to the ground. I will tear down
those four horns. Those four horns. The he-goat, the lion, the leopard, and the bear. We met with all the dignitaries. We've been to DC. We went across the earth without touching it in our super duper califragilisticexpialidocious travel van at Turbuz. Ain't we the best? Ain't we the great gods? There's your four apocalyptic beasts, man. The four horns is going to be cut off. You are being cut off. It's done. Go.
Verse 15, I will tear down the winter house with the summer house, and the houses of ivory will perish. The great houses will come to an end, says Yahshua.
The great Kahans, the house of the great, the 10,000 that will fall. It's a play on words. Look up the number 10,000, the word 10,000. Study that word out. It means house of the great, those who call themselves great. There's only one who is great, and his name is Yahshua. This is who this is speaking of. The prophecies are only for the believer, Moshe 3:2. Okay? Where are we going over to next now?
We're going over to...
this is coming from Psalms 19, 1 through 6.
We're going over now to Revelations.
In side note J in Revelations 10.
And then Revelations 11.
In verse 7 there, side note J, footnote J. Okay? Where are we going first?
Revelations 11.
So now we go back over to Revelations 11. We're going to Revelations 11 now. And this is coming from the psalm there. Psalms 19, 1 through 6. All this study that we're doing is referencing back to Revelations and Psalms, showing that Psalms is a prophecy concerning the Omer count. And then 2b in verse 6 of Psalm 19:6, showing the Jeremiah 23:19. In the latter days, the when also. The when? The Omer count. When? In the latter days. When? The word judgment. 19 and verse 6 of Psalms. Now we're going over. Teacher has took us to Revelations chapter 11.
Chapter 11.
And verse?
Well, we'll start out here in verses 1 through 3.
Revelations 1 through 3.
And there was given me a reed like a measuring rod.
A reed like a measuring rod. Gold. Okay.
And the Malach, there, notice this is the Malach giving this message to a person saying, speak. And so, and the Malach stood saying, rise and measure the temple of Yahshua and the altar and confines where they worship within.
Within you. This is the temple. I asked Joshua right before, I said, but what about the temple? He said, you're looking at it. You look at yourself. You look at me up and down. He said, you're looking at it. Are you a temple of Yahshua, Yahweh Yahshua? They are one. Are you a temple of Yahweh Hallel, whom that life-giving frequency is in Yahshua has to vacate and come out? Revelation said the bridegroom has to come out because they hate him. And his bride follows him wherever he goes, down the hill, descending down out, newly authorized. Go ahead, Yahadin.
But the court, it says, Melech stood saying, rise and measure the temple of Yahshua and the altar and its confines where they worship within. Verse 2, but the court, which is outside the temple, leave out. And that's, and measure it not. And that's the parallel for back then, the parallel now that Micaiah had already mentioned what's going on with within and without from their wicked deeds and so forth. For it is given to the Gentiles, and the holy city they will tread underfoot 3.5 years.
Well, there's that word city in Moshe 3 again, chapter 3. Will a lion roar in a city and a people not be afraid? Will a shofar be blown in a city and a people not be afraid? And reverently fear a city? That's Revelation chapter 11 and 18. It's also chapter 18 there. Yes, but verse 20 along in there somewhere. But there in Revelations 18, that word city. See, one word in one place. You better be clicking in another. It's how you put the line upon line together. One word here's another. They all were in unity. Yahshua knew it all, and he put it all together in Revelation. Go ahead, Yadin. For 3.5 years. Your 3.5 years is done. It's over. 1,260 is up. Go ahead.
Right, and the parallel was back then they would tread down the temple back then, but it'll be tread down up there on the hill also. And verse 3, I will give.
It has been tread down. For 3.5 years they treaded upon you. They treaded upon the grapes. And now we will wash Yahshua's garments in them.
And I will give to my two.
Not will. They have treaded you down and oppressed you and kept you from serving the most beautiful, wonderful being, Yahshua, for 3.5 years.
For 3.5 years.
It's not going any longer. Time no longer. The lion is roaring. Is roared. Go ahead.
And I will give to my two witnesses, and that you can go to Isaiah 44, the P on the footnote there. Do you want to read that?
Where are we at? Isaiah 44?
Isaiah 44, 7.
Okay. Go ahead. Yadin, read.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say.
Okay, Isaiah 44?
Yeah, 44, 7.
Let me see how quick I can get there. We're at Isaiah 44, verse 7. Isaiah 44, verse 7. And who as I will foretell and set it in order for me, since I appointed the ancient people and the things which are coming and will come. Yahshua has come, is come, and shall come. Came 2,000 years ago. He is come on the hill, and he will come here. Let them, those two witnesses, now foretell. What is Israel foretelling you that's coming now?
And he says, I will give my two witnesses.
I, as one in unity with him, am telling you, this is Israel's work.
And I will give to my
taught us these things that you reject, that they've oppressed and trodden you down for 3.5 years in that city on the hill that cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14 through 16, which is the chain of the light. The house has been set up for a light in the Omer count. And in the latter days, all the footnotes telling you the wind. Psalms 19:1 through 6. Go ahead.
And I will give to my two witnesses to perform their prophetic offices, and they will foretell, just like Micaiah just said, foretell events about the 3.5 years, those cast about with darkness.
You just had the boy, man, say that he asked the beast, the decrepit lion, what's going on with these sure true prophecies? And the bastardly lion, decrepit lion, who said nothing will stop us, who called himself the 666, and you're sitting in front of you, blaspheming to your faces, while you go up and down the hill in the earth and to and fro, up and down the road in my sight, in the sight of the face of Yahshua. Are you the face of Yahshua? Are you the face of the decrepit lion who told the boy this week? You really think Pastor's going to say you messed it all up? Yes, he is. Yes, he has told me so. The boy himself told you you were in darkness for 3.5 years. It's one of the plagues. You are in the plague of spiritual darkness. You need resurrecting. Go ahead.
It says, these are as it
prophesied, and so has Yakinti, so has Yahadin, and all these 7 thunders that are joined themselves here. Go ahead.
These are, as it were, the two olive trees, and as it were, the 2 lamps of the 7-lamp lampstand, ministering for the Father Yahshua in the earth. The 7-lamp lampstand, the number 7 again, the 7-lamp lampstand.
More than one person represents those eras.
Right.
Do you represent Israel? Are you really of the 7th era? How could you say you are of the 7th era of Israel and not teach what he taught? And not bring forward Yahshua and not obey him? I left you, Micaiah. You're not getting around Israel, he goes. You ain't. You condemn and judge and sentence your own self, he goes. And as a disclaimer, all we're doing is just, you're sitting there and they're looking you in the eye. They go behind the curtain and laugh at you all. They run and hide their faces as quick as they can from you all. Go ahead.
And that's the understanding coming from the 2 of the lamps, the parallel.
Again.
The parallel of the 2 witnesses.
These are the 2 olive trees.
And the parallel of the 2 olive trees. And the lamps, there were 7 of the lamps, 7 of the utterings, 7 of the thunders, and 7 malachim. And they're all coming, this all coming down from this place. Pastor is here also. He is with Yahshua. He is here.
When you see him roar, oh boy, yes, he will say they messed it up. The vision, the dream, the hope, the desire, the will and the pleasure belongs to Yahshua. Only it's ours to humbly submit and obey, subject ourselves and obey and conform to that. His will, Yahshua's. Go ahead.
Verse 5, and if any among them determines in his mind to commit sin, the every word of Yahshua, the law and the prophets.
Wow, the law and the prophets there in chapter 12, but right over here, there's the man, the woman clothed with the sun, Yahshua. That's the word son being right there in Psalms 19:6, 1 through 6. And the moon under her feet, Israel. This is the foundation. And the crown of 12 stars, Revelation 21, 12 Malachim 20 says here. But the law and the prophets in the side notes talks about the message that Micaiah and my Malachim, are teaching to you all now. The law and the prophets. Go ahead.
Like the 2-edged sword of fire.
Sword of fire. Wow. How many times have we told you that fire, that burning is coming on the hill? And you better be burned up with this zealous fire for Yahshua and this family, this house, and these sure and true prophecies, law and prophecies. Magnified, like a householder brings out of the treasury of his house the law and the prophecies.
That 2-edged sword of fire proceeds out of the mouth of the spokesman.
Who's the spokesman, Yadin?
That's certainly Micaiah here. And he devours their enemies. And if any among them should continue to commit sin, in this manner it is binding for him to be destroyed. So
not him. It's your choice whether you are in take part in Yeshua's kingdom, whether you repent and come out away from those wicked men and come here and join yourself to this work that you do not partake of their sin and receive of their plagues. That's your choice. You have a choice who you will work beside.
If you don't remove yourselves from the false work over there,
But that the sin is bound up. Through the teachings, we're binding Hallel with the chain of the monarch, with the chain and the keys, teachings. The rod of correction, that we're measuring them up. The fruit that they bring forth. Are they bringing forward the tree of life, Yahshua? Go ahead.
and if you don't leave those wicked over there, you're actually destroying yourself. You're binding yourself up in your sins and your iniquities to be destroyed. In this
Now this is showing you now who we are. Verse 6, read it.
These hold Yahshua's authority to shut the heaven.
Yahweh's authority, Yahweh's name, the word authority means name. See, he even shows it there. Yahshua's authority. Yahweh and Yahshua are one. Yes or no? Yes or no? Go ahead, Yadin.
In order that rainfall does not rain the days of their prediction.
Now, we can turn these prophecies off. If you're wicked, you're one of the five foolish that want to continue to follow a bunch of wicked bastards who want their own vision, and they want 2 billion people to hobble down the road with flats hanging off of them to serve them. If you want to follow those prophetic retards.
Verse 6, it says, these hold Yahshua's authority to shut the heaven.
Then the rain will be cut off from you. The teachings, this latter rain that's falling upon you now. All I have to do is hit the then cut it off and go. If you're one of those five foolish retards, turn it off. You'll have no part in me, and I have none in you. Nothing, no big deal.
You'll just be binding yourself.
You'll be binding your own self hand and foot. Go ahead.
These hold
you can't walk in Yahshua's way, and then he knows the way I take. I follow Yahshua. Go ahead.
These hold Yahshua's authority to shut the heaven in order that the rainfall does not rain the days of their prediction. And Yahshua's authority they have over the waters, the people, to turn them into blood, so that they'll be destroying themselves. That they're drinking of that cup of
the animal sacrifice and the blood sacrifice at your fake feast,
and to strike the earth with every plague as often as provided they should will. That's the authority that Yahshua has given to these 7 down here.
Praise Yahshua.
Under Yahshua, with Yahshua's permission given, and be in agreement under Micaiah, asking Yahshua, in agreement with Yahshua, that these things be the things that they're asked be allowed because of the wickedness that's going on right now.
Your will be done, Yahshua. And allow the event, if it saves lives, Yahshua, knowing it saves life as it is written and prophesied, allow the event. Allow that event, the event, that one day event, allow it to come, great Yahshua.
Now we're going to chapter 15.
Only save them alive, King Yahshua. Though I prophesy now in part, for the prophets were under Yachanan, and I quote, only what's written.
Now we're going to chapter 15 in Revelation here.
Allow that event to come, Yahshua. Go. And the tree is going to be shaken when it comes.
We're going to the 7th seal, the 7th trumpet.
The whirlwind. Wow, that was one of that shaking, that wind just shakes. An east wind, that whirlwind out of the east.
Now we're going
strong east wind that blows all night. Night after night. Go ahead.
Now we're going to chapter 15.
Chapter 15 of Revelations.
Yes, in Revelation.
In your book of Yahweh Yahshua, and it's on page 980, chapter 15.
And under chapter 15, it says the 7th seal, the 7th trumpet. If we mentioned the seal, the 7th trumpet, standing on the sea of glass. And we know that was Micaiah standing on the sea of glass.
Are you standing in this message on the sea of glass that's coming over the sea of glass with me? Are you standing in it and on it?
He was standing with 1 foot on the nations, and his message going out to those also on the hill, on there. And he had the fire, the flame, the golden shoes on there. And so and now we're starting verse 1. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous. 7 Malachim, that's from the 7 down here. 7 Malachim having the 7 last plagues. And we just saw how they were allowed to have the plagues to be called out upon the wicked. The 7 last plagues, for in them the wrath of Yahushua is
the
brought
judgment
to
of
complete.
Yahushua.
The punishment, the wrath of Yahushua.
That's saying the time has come. There's time no longer. And now that first 3.5 is gone. She was given 3.5 years. We measured them up for 3.5 years and went out teaching. Go ahead.
In verse 2, and I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mixed with fire.
On the sea of glass, for 3.5 years, I've told you that fire's coming. It's proceeded out of my mouth. The message that fire's coming, that fire has proceeded. That message of the fire has proceeded out of my mouth. Your sea of glass, the message has been mingled with that word fire, and that it's coming. Over that sea of glass that you're looking at my face through right now. That's before that throne. Sea of glass is before this throne, since they refused to put one up for him. Go ahead.
And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and those who had, and those, when it says, and those, that's the 7 Malachim, verse 1.
That had prevailed over the beast men of Revelation 8 and over Daniel chapter 8, and Revelation 17. And they're also mentioned throughout Yeremiah and Yechezkiah. Zechariah makes mention of them. Go ahead.
And over his likeness and over his mark, that's the 666, that's the disobedience on the hill.
And the fake feast. Remember, Pastor said the mark of the beast is the fake feast.
And over the number of his name.
The number of his authority. His authority being given, only allowed by Yahushua, sitting up there judging. That one who tells what goes out over the airwaves and what does not, as they go out deceiving the nations, the many. Being deceived and deceiving, using all lying signs and wonders. That's the number of his name. That's the authority in his name. Mr. Decrepit Lion, go ahead.
Over his likeness and over his mark and over the number of his name.
You have that authority now through this message that we're teaching. Over those wicked beast men and that wicked man in his pride who knows the decrepit lion. What I'm telling you is the irrefutable, undisputable truth. And he, in his dark, he shakes and shivers, and after this message he will tonight, and simply will not come and submit and subject himself here and ask how he can help. This is how much he habs his family. I feel so sorry for him. Come out away from them. Come out away from him. Go ahead.
And he's talking about those that prevailed down here.
You'll be safe here. My dad out there didn't believe either. My wicked worldly father didn't believe either. I had to leave away from him. You can do it. Go ahead.
Those that prevailed, and they were standing on the sea of glass, having the laws of
He is wicked.
Having the laws of Yahushua, and the end there on the footnote is traditionally translated. It was harps, and we see in verse 3 what the harps were, and they sing. Those down here are singing the song of Moshe.
Singing the song of Moshe?
Did the pastor tell us to do that?
Yeah. Wow. Well, look at this. Wow. That cost me. These tithes and offerings these 7 people brought forth as we cried and teared and begged Yahushua. He's provided everything that you all would come and help. And still in your stiff-necked rebellion to follow wicked beast men and their perverted ideology and fake feast, thinking they could throw out a moon in 2024 and just let's throw the calendar in the dumpsters because we saw some green ears that weren't even ripe.
And when you were up there listening to the beast,
I've got 153 of these I printed off at $2 a piece. You do the math. Night and day, night after night, it's uttered. Psalms 19, verse 2, uttered. All of this coming from Psalms 19, 1 through 6. All of it.
And when you were
7 thunders,
when you were listening to the
here.
When you were listening to the wicked
we're going to be singing the song of Moshe down here rejoicing, bringing forth Yahushua. Yahushua is a man of war. Yahushua is his name. He and Yahweh are one. Got it all waiting on you. We're going to sing the song of the Lamb too. We'll go into that here in a minute.
And just remember when you
were
all
the world has longed for this day. All forefathers are rejoicing and hearing of it on the sea of glass and throughout creation. All creation that has longed for this day is rejoicing.
And just remember, when you were listening to the fake wicked priests up there on the hill these last 3.5 years, those that were down here were going around the house 7 times singing the song of Moshe. And if you go into verse 3,
7 times,
and
sometimes twice a day, going around the house singing the song of Moshe.
And blowing the shofar, and verse 3, and they sing the song of Moshe, the servant of Yahshua. That's talking about those down here, under the servant of Yahshua. That's Micaiah. So it was coming from this place, not up there on the hill. And remember, the pastor instructed it was to be sung, the song of Moshe, and the servant under the servant of Yahshua, and the song of the Lamb, saying, "Great and marvelous are your works."
Worthy is the Lamb who was slain to receive power and glory, wisdom and honor.
And the song of the Lamb, saying, "Great and marvelous are your works, Father Yahshua. You just and true are your ways, O King of the righteous. Who will not reverence you, O Yahshua, and glorify your name?"
Who will not reverence his name, his authority, Yahshua, Psalm 91. Because you have not forgotten my name, Yahshua, I will cause you to be delivered.
That was those down
He's not
here.
gassy. He calls me on the phone. He's a man. Can he drive a truck? Can he use a skill saw and whip out a tape? Has he served even the most wicked in your midst faithfully and humbly? Go ahead.
It says, who will not reverence you, O Yahweh, or Yahshua, and glorify your name? For only you, Yahshua, are holy. For all nations will come and worship
on the hill
before
that
you.
will make it, that will escape up there, those few. Go ahead.
And worship before you. That's down here.
Will come. The nations will come. You're talking, there are nations on the earth?
Oh,
They haven't come yet? They haven't come here yet, but they've come. Those nations have come. Yeshua's come. Built his house. Right now, he's just up there, just the most humble. It's beyond the greatest actor there has ever been. There's no close second.
For your judgments are made manifest.
Well, judgments, your wrath, your judgments there. That's Psalms 19 in verse 6. Side note 2b, chain referencing Jeremiah 23:19, telling you the latter days. You would understand this crystal clear. And Revelations 11:18, letting you know there is time no more, and that the time of the spiritually dead on the hill need to be resurrected, and if they do not, they will be sentenced to damnation. Just quoting the prophecies as a disclaimer. Go ahead.
It says, and your judgments are made manifest.
This day, through these teachings, his judgments.
It's set in advance. That's the old.
Through the 7 Malachim. Remember the context. Those 7 who've joined themselves to the work here. It's not the Sabbath, so we didn't light the menorah. Go ahead.
And after that I looked, and behold, the house of the tabernacle.
Now, tabernacle in Isaiah chapter 15 and 16 says the tabernacle of David. This is the east sheep gate, the tribe of Yada, to the east. Also in the book of Moshe, it's called the tabernacle of Yaakov, of Micaiah Yaakov.
Right.
So, and I looked, and behold, the house of the tabernacle of the testimony
And that was
of Yahshua, Revelation chapter 12. We overcome the beast man on the hill with the testimonies of Yahshua, the man among us. He who serves a call, pastor, and phone calls me now. Go ahead.
And that's the
and
house or family that was written in Psalm 19, the light family there on the footnote there.
Remember, this testimony in heaven was opened. Everybody on a sea of glass. Anything been hidden? It's all one open book right here for everyone to see. Go ahead.
And the 7 Malachim came out of the house, having the 7 plagues.
The house has been set up as a light. Psalms 19, 1 through 6 on your behalf. Go ahead.
And clothed in pure white linen, and wearing golden girdles about
Pure white
chest.
linen. That is humility. The white garment and that pure white linen, brethren, is simply humility. Beyond anything as this lion roars, as the lion roars, that you have ever imagined. You must come here, submit and subject yourself to these teachings and ask, I was wrong. How can I bring forward King Yahshua, the King of all kings, and help crown him? This family's going to crown him. We're crowning him now. Go ahead.
And one of the 4 living creatures gave to the seven Malachi.
Now, these are the parallel. These are your other four cherubim, but they're living. And it don't matter if you're sucking wind or not. If you aren't in Yahshua standing in this message, you are spiritually dead. And anybody that went to sleep that wasn't a baptized member who entered into a written baptismal covenant with their signature is not under judgment. They are not dead in Messiah. They've never heard of him or been given the opportunity to learn of him, even if they had Jesus.
And
you can only be alive if you are a baptized member who is standing in this prophetic message that I have been sent by the King of Kings to you with, pleading for your life as a brother and a friend and a neighbor and a father, teacher. These are your true prophecies, and this is the plan that was from the beginning. That is the plan and always shall be, and there is no other. Go ahead.
And one of the four living creatures.
Verse 7, chapter 15 and verse 7 of Revelation on page 981 in your life-giving book of Yahweh Yahshua.
And one of the four living creatures gave to the seven Malachim 7 golden bowls full of the wrath of Yahshua.
Wow, the golden bowls? Sitting on that front porch out there. Go ahead. But if they're also inside of you, it's this. This is the bowl. This is the golden bowl. The law and the prophets are the voice of Yahshua, the golden oil of Yahshua. Go ahead.
And those 7 golden bowls, the 7 Malachim had the 7 golden bowls full of the wrath of Yahshua. It says, who lives forever and ever, verse 8. And the house...
Wearing golden girdles. Yakati has one, Derek. The others have one. Yadin didn't wear his today. He has that golden girdle. You'll see that on him here real soon, those who come out. Because a lot of these things that we're going into detail carry a whole lot more prophetic importance. But you've got to come out to partake and see and receive of that joy and take part in the immediate family of Yeshua to see those most marvelous things. Go ahead.
Verse 8, and the house that's down here was filled with smoke from the glory of Yahshua and from his power, and no man was able to enter into the house until, that's down here, the house, until the 7 plagues of the 7 Malachim, those the 7 from down here, were completed. And so, and then the list of the 7 plagues is in verse 16.
You're entering in, and it says no man, not just any man. You take part in this, and you come and ask humbly how you can help. You can enter it. You're entering into this house, the house of Yahshua. Are you the living house? Though, yes, you must relocate. You must. You cannot sit at the table of those who are against this message and at the table with those who are bringing it forward. The teachers of Yahshua that are his army are the teachers who are always invoking and bringing forward the King of the glory of Yahweh Yahshua. Go ahead. Now, that's the conclusion of chapter 15 in Revelation.
You could study out for yourselves the plagues that had to be before this thing.
They're going on now. That plague of darkness. We saw the plague of COVID running rampant. We're seeing these different things that are occurring. We see what they're doing in the firmament, pouring out his message into the firmament, into the air. Yahadim teaching us and others teaching us. I mean, everyone is seeing it. The silver sky is the aluminum that they're putting in. The stronger winds than I've ever seen in 2 decades of living in Texas that I've ever seen is they use that HART technology. They'll take their jets and dump the aluminum oxides and the barium to the west there, to the southwest, and they'll send those winds with the HART right up from the southwest. They'll get the land primed up, so for that spontaneous combustion, when that fire, Revelation 18 comes, another one of the plagues I've said that's coming, that we've prophesied, the pollution and defilement in the firmament's been prophesied, the COVID with the disease, and yes, even the whirlwind that is 23:19 of Yoderimya that is chained over from Psalms 19, 1 through 6 there. One of the footnotes there saying the whirlwind would come and that you would understand it perfectly in the latter days, crystal clear.
So study out these plagues these plagues here, these 7 plagues here, but I want to bring you to the 6th plague and read a little bit here. And that's verse 12 in chapter 16 on page 981. And the 6th Malach poured out his bowl, and that's the plague, the day of Yahshua, upon the great river Euphrates, and its water was dried up, so the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. And I saw 3 unclean spirits, and those are the 3 unclean spirits up there on the hill. That's the bear, the decrepit lion, and the he-goat.
The leopard just follows around like a little lost puppy, the other 3.
And it says,
but we know the bear had 3 frog spirits appear to him that he saw, testified at the lecture in their faces he saw appear to him.
And that's
he seeks those familiar frog, demonic, reptilian spirits.
And that's coming out, it says there, come out of the mouth of the dragon.
Claiming that he's the vineyard on the hill. The vineyard brought forward wild grapes, so it had to be burned up by a Revelation 18 fire. There is your sure and true chain link reference. I wouldn't be saying to people's faces, we're the vineyard. You're the vineyard, bear, louse. Yes, one thing now in 3.5 years I've heard you got right. You are the vineyard that is prophesied to be burned up. Revelation chapter 18, that word city, Moshe 3:2. No other family. That city is right there in Moshe chapter 3.
Then chapter 13, I saw the 3 unclean spirits. That was who he mentioned, bear, decrepit lion, and the he-goat. And it says, like frogs, and they come out of the mouth of the dragon, and that's the red dragon up there on the hill. He gives the order it's okay for them to proceed forward. And the footnote there is the command of Satan. Hallel is behind the red dragon, or who actually really is.
The posse comitatus that they all look up to like a dad. Our dad went to sleep. We got us a dad now. He knows everything. He sat real close to pastor. But he won't bring forward Yahshua.
And out of the mouth of the beast, and the footnote there is the world government's following Lucifer, and that's what the he-goat tries to trouble the nations, to get things going on that half for Lucifer, Hallel. And out of the mouth of the false prophet, and that's the demon spirits.
Louse.
Leading priests.
Louse.
That's their lineup.
The bear.
They're cronies they present.
With their numerology.
They present a lineup, that circus lineup over there.
Circus, Circe lineup.
For they are the spirits of demons who perform signs, miracles. Miracles are not. They're not the healings, the blessings
from Yeshua. They are not the healing blessings from Yahshua. The miracles.
It says, "Who go forth to the kings of the whole inhabited earth," and that's
okay. And we're going there. We had the Corinthians and everything to cover. But go ahead.
Verse 15 is. Yahshua says, I am coming as a thief. Blessed is he who watches and keeps his garments, or he will walk naked, and they will see his shame. All right, so now we're going down.
Now he's coming. He is coming. I am coming. He's already come. 1 Yachanan 5:20. The nations have come. They just not come out yet here because everybody's got to be sealed up first, okay? But behold, he's going to come out of there. You better be ready because he's coming out of that hill like a thief. Will you even know when he departs? Go ahead. Blessed is he who watches and keeps his garment, that white garment. Revelation 16 and verse 15, that white garment of humility. Or he who walked naked in sin will be ashamed. That event, that one day event is coming now. I'm prophesying it. Allow it to come now, Yahshua. If it saves the lives of the others, allow it to come. Everyone is tagged. Everyone is tagged, Pastor said. This message is only for the 5 wise of the believers of the 7th era. If you're not a believer in prophecy, turn it off.
Okay, going down now to the 7th plague.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yep.
Going down to the 7th plague, where it says there, it is done. The same way Micaiah has told you, it's over. Okay, they're fake. Everything's is done now. The lies have all been exposed, and the wrath is coming. The count of the Omer is coming, and
Psalms 1 through 6, it's mentioned twice. Yeshua's coming is according to the Omer count, coming here. He called pastor on the phone. He's already come. 1 Yochanan 5:20.
the real Omer
He's coming here.
The real Omer count from here. Verse 17, and the seventh Malach poured out his bowl into the air. That's the understanding. And there came a great voice out of the house of heaven from the throne saying, it is done.
It's done.
It's done.
It is done. The 3.5 years, there is time no more. Go ahead.
Verse 18, and there were voices and thunders and lightning.
7 thunders, voices that you're hearing now. 7 thunders, 2 of which you're hearing now.
The utterings coming from the seven down here.
The utterings of the thunderings. That's Psalms 19 and verse 2 uttered. Night after night, day after day, we've uttered for 3.5 years. About the day he's prophesying to you about the 3.5 years cast about in darkness. That the boy man at the lectern during your fake feast there. Go ahead.
And there was a great earthquake, an event there.
An event that shook like a whirlwind. It just shook the tree. Go ahead.
Such as was not since
It's now coming. It is at the door. Go ahead.
Such as was not since men were upon the earth, so mighty an earthquake and so great. And it came to pass that the great city divided into 3 parts. And
now remember, that is New York City, as Pastor said, the mark of the beast. But it's also the parallel this. The Orthodox sodomite he-goat, the Jesuit decrepit lion and red dragon, posse comitatus, the Jesuits that will kill you, a Don Corleone giving all the instructions of the Catholic priest, and then the Masonic decrepit, pitiful bear, pigeon-toed bear, louse.
bring forth the witchcraft.
And the 3 frogs, unclean spirits. The 3 unclean spirits that he testified he saw. 3 frogs. One in the pond, one in the sky, cloud vision in his feeble mind. And then one was trying to bust through the door to get to him. Familiar spirits flocked together.
And it came to pass that the great city divided in 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell.
That city and the cities of the nations fell. That 10th part of the city fell. That 10th part of that first nation, that first kingdom that the 10 kings were given, that North American continent, including Canada, Google it. It's divided up into 10 kingdoms. They're starting with the U.S. and the monetary restructuring. Go ahead. That's going to fail. They're thinking they're going to do this quick because they're tuning into my message, Yahshua's message. And now we're going into 5 moons of warfare. Wow, it's funny how that ends if you go from 4:12 to 9:12. If you go from 5:13, but end on 5:13. Right around the time we're going into the reception time period in Yahweh Yahshua Shema. Go ahead.
And great Babylon, in the footnote J there, that's Revelation 17, talking about the great whore. It says, came in remembrance before Yahshua to give to her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath.
Judgment. Wow, that judgment. There again, Psalm 19, verse 6. The wrath, the judgment to be footnote that takes you to Remy 23:19 and Revelations 11:18. The time has come that the spiritually dead who are not alive in this message, because you can only be alive if you're a baptized member who is alive in Yahshua, in Yahshua's message he sent me to you with. Yes.
And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. And there
he was a mountain of a man. I'm an island of a man. I'm on my own over here. Nobody cares about me. I'm a mountain. Oh, look at me. I'm one of these great Kahans. You're going to flee away. And the sun will escape and flee into this mountain. Flee into the mountain when you see these things and hear these things. Pastor said, it's written for you to do so. Revelation 12, she fled into the wilderness, into the mountain. Go ahead.
And there fell upon men
a promotion where Yahshua, who has the only authority to promote you, to demote and to promote. Go ahead.
And there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every hailstone about the weight of a talent, and men blasphemed Yahshua because of the plague of the hail, for exceedingly great is the plague of it.
These are your plagues, and they are upon you now. Is that where you're going to? There? No, we're not. No. We're going now. Now back to Revelations.
We're going to go to Eve also.
We're going to, but not first. Back to Revelations. Now, stay with us here, because people have longed. Just imagine how many in these think tanks so they can try to stay out ahead of each other in the beastly warmongering nations that we're learning war. Now we're learning Yahshua. We're always going to be spiritual warfaring through teaching. The law and the prophets break down the strongholds. We're proving all things. So now that Psalms 19, 1 through 6 took us to Revelations. Remember that Psalms 19:2, that utter, took us to Revelations 10 and verse 4. But I looked back a verse because the uttered, and I wanted to, you see one word in one place, and I wanted to look back up there when I was studying this out and saw that word uttered. So we go back to, and we were reading it, and Yahdin last night and the day before we were studying it out, Yahdin read all of chapter 10 in Revelation. So let's go back to Revelation chapter 10, and we're looking at verse 7, and that side note, that footnote J, this is the chain reference now from Psalms, the word uttered, Psalms 19, 1 through 6, chapter 19 and verse 2 on 441, that word uttered, which is 10:3 of Revelation. So we went ahead and read the whole chapter, and now we're at 10:7 in Revelations, and looking at side note, chain link reference, J, footnote J, on page 977 in your book, Life Book, Giving Book of Yahshua, Yahweh Yahshua, 977 for your notes, okay? Now, that J sends us there to
Revelations 10:11.
it sends us to, the J, J. 1 Corinthians. Yes?
Let's see, 15.
Yes.
Yeah, First Corinthians.
Turn over to 1 Corinthians on page 899 in your life-giving book of Yahweh Yahshua. 899. This is powerful. It's wonderful. Yep. They have longed to hear it, and here it is now. Page 899.
That's chapter 15, verses 51.
Go ahead and read them.
Okay, 15, 51.
1 Corinthians 15:51.
It says the first resurrection of the last trumpet. Remember, the trumpet's blown every day.
Now, the trumpet at the Feast of Passover, we always wondered what that last day, that high Sabbath of the Feast of Unleavened Bread meant. And what significance it had, you're going to find out. Because every day of the feast here, we blow the shofar, the trumpet here. They're going to be blown not just by me, but by those other 12 gatekeepers. Revelation 21 will be here sounding them. We're all going to be sounding them, rejoicing. But on that last trumpet sounding, on the last day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the true Passover unleavened bread, here, that Yahshua, who's just sitting up there with you all, eating and watching you all, listening, pray Yahweh right to your face. Yes, great Kohan. Yes, great deacon. That guy, he's crazy. Let him do it. Because he's wanting to see if you believe into these sure and true prophecies. If you put in the line upon line. If you studied to show yourself able to prove all these things. 1 Corinthians 15:51 on page 899. And this is the chain from footnote J, 10:7 of Revelation. Go ahead, Yahdin.
51. Behold, I show you a secret truth. We will not all sleep, but we will all be changed. And that's, if you look at the footnote there, it says...
That's secret. That's Revelation 10:7. There's your secret things revealed when the seventh Molly goes to sleep. The side note says there, so here's your secret truth. Yahshua is the truth. Here's the secret about Yeshua that only he held until this point, him being the only one that could open the seal up, giving it to this family.
And that change will occur here when that last trumpet...
Wow, sounds like a real Passover in the last day of unleavened bread, that high Sabbath, that last day. Whoever's kept it correctly here, that second Passover. I do not know what more we could give to them, but we're going to give it to you. Hold on tight. Here we go. That secret truth. Go ahead.
In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet...
Now, not all will sleep in slumber. Back to verse 51. That sleep and slumber. That's your spiritual dead. You're dead.
On the hill.
The time has come. There's time no longer. That 3.5 is done. and cast them out in darkness. And you're still in the plague of darkness. Now it's coming. Will you receive this and be resurrected? Go ahead.
That means you have to get out of your slumber up there on the hill and come down here.
Because we're going to be changed right there. That footnote sends you to Job 14:14. Wow. Told Yazalia her number was 14 and told me my number was 14. That's a double portion right there. Yeshua told me my number. But it says, I will rejoice when my change comes. I'm paraphrasing. Because we've got some other places to go here. But go ahead, Yadin. We will be changed.
In a moment, in the
Verse 52.
In the moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet.
At the last trumpet, not trumpeter. The last trumpet sounded before the change comes. 7 of them are going to sound on the feast of unleavened bread, Passover, unleavened bread. Here at the house of Yahshua, the house of Yahweh Yahshua, the house of Micaiah Eternal, the Lamb's bride. That real feast, we are going to sound loud and often and all day long, the trumpets and the shofars.
The song of Moshe and
the song of Moshe and the song of the Lamb's going to be sung throughout the day. We're going to rejoice. And on that last trump, in a moment, go ahead.
For the trumpet will sound and the dead will be raised incorruptible.
You're going to be fully awake in this message and we're going to become one with Yahshua. Go ahead.
Okay. And so,
you'll be raised incorruptible. You're not going to be able to be deceived by those wicked men who bring forth boring, mundane, same garbage, unable to prophesy because they hate Yahshua, the fact that he's a man, lowly, humble, riding a black donkey with a silver underbelly.
And it says, we will be changed. And the footnote there, D, says, if you go in there on D, the change, it takes you back up to verse 51. That's, you see the D. 51, that's the secret, is that's when the change is going to occur. So if you're up there on the hill, you're not going to get a change. You have to come down here and be present during the real count of the Omer.
It takes you right back to B. You will be raised spiritually for the time that the dead should. This is the first resurrection. We're proving it. Prove all things. This message. Now,
those that are asleep up there,
that's changed. So it takes you back to B. Job 14:14 in the chain reference. Revelation 20 verse 1. Mark with the key in the chain. And then it takes you to Yechezkiah 37, 1 through 14. So let's turn over to Yechezkiah. I don't know if we'll read that whole chapter. Let's look and see what Yechezkiah says. 37, what is it, Yadin? 37, 1 through 14, Yechezkiah.
Yeah, 37, 1 through 14.
So we'll turn over to Yechezkiah 37. We're going there. Yechezkiah. And look, now listen, we're proving all things. This is telling you, Yechezkiah, and it says it twice because it refers back to the change in D. Go back to B again. It says go on back to B. So, Yechezkiah 37, 1 through 14. The hand of Yahshua was upon me, and he carried me out in the life-giving character of Yahshua and set me down in the midst of the valley of the shadow of death, or the valley of Jehoshaphat of judgment. Remember, Psalms 19, verse 6, the judgment, the wrath is coming. The Omer count twice in those chapters. The Omer count shows that she was coming to here, descending down out of heaven off the hill, with a cloud of witnesses coming with him. It was full of bones. Verse 2, 37 and verse 2, page 657 for your notes in your life-giving book of Yahweh Yahshua. It caused me to pass by them all around, and behold, there were very many people in the open valley. And lo, they were very dry. Don't say dead people, though you are spiritually dead. And they were very dry. The waters are being dried up, that drought, because they won't water you or feed you. That life-giving water is here. It's flowing out of here. Then he said to me, Son of man, this is a capital S, this is Joshua. Can these bones live? Now, when they thought themselves to throw out their servant under the altar who was rejoicing, telling them, Yeshua's come, he sent me to you all. Went to a meeting, and a few days later, they threw me out for telling them Yeshua's come. That ain't my pastor, man. He called him on the phone. He ain't here. Why don't you tell us what he meant? None of those beast men will tell you from the lectern what he meant when he said it. They don't even want to repeat it. All they want to do is lie in your faces. They're wicked liars and nothing more. And you'll only inherit lies as it is written from them. It's all you can get from them. Then he said to me, can these bones live? Can they be resurrected? They are under the covenant and are sleeping and slumbering. Not all will sleep. 1 Corinthians 15:51. This is your chain reference. And I answered, oh, Father Yahshua, you know. And again he said to me, prophesy to these bones for 3.5 years. Cast them out in darkness. And say to them, O dry bones, hear the word of Yahshua and hear him roar. This is what Father Yahshua says to these bones. Behold, I will cause this breath, this message. He preached them a message. When he was teaching them in the garden, Yahshua was teaching them, Yahweh Yahshua was teaching them, he was preaching them a message, a prophetic message. There's a fire coming, a whirlwind and an event. It's going to shake the tree to enter into you, and you will live. If you will allow this message to enter into you, you will live. And I will lay sinews upon you and bring flesh over you and cover you with skin and put this breath, this message in you. And you will live and you will know that I am Yahshua's representative. When they thought to throw me out, this is the first book Yeshua kept calling me. He'd been doing it for 6 months before they do it. He knew the plan all along. Yahshua. He said, Micaiah, you read that book of your cats? I'll read it with you. 6 months. Finally, when he did, I started reading it. I said, this is talking about me and Pastor and me. He said, it was written to everyone down through the ages, but expressly to me and Pastor and you. That was his words to me. And while I was reading it, as I was finishing, guess what Moloch that Yeshua sent to me and showed up at the door with the rainbow around him. Now, going on, verse 7, you cats get 37:7. So I prophesied as I was commanded. I prophesied to you all. And there was a noise, noises and voices from the 7 thunders. And behold, a shaking. Well, it sounds like an earthquake to me, a message that's shaking you all. And the bones came together. They gathered together into one location, those driven away and cast out over the message. Bone to his bone. That's, wow, you flesh of my flesh and bone of my bone. All the family of them 12 gatekeepers now got to come here and gather together. All those who are flesh of your flesh and bone of your bone, 12 men in Revelation 21, have to come here and be gathered together. They came together. Off the hill they came. And when I looked, lo, the sinews and the flesh came and the skin covered them over. But there was no breath in them. They wouldn't budge. Then he said to me, prophesy to the breath then. Prophesy to the breath. Son of man, that's lowercase s, speaking to me. Say to the breath, this is what Father Yahshua is saying to you now. Come from the 4 winds, the 4 cherubim. I being the east wind right now, representing Yahshua. To the east, that strong east wind that blew all night from Moshe, and now it's going to part the waters on the hill. O breath, and breathe upon these slain. 1/3 slain by the message, Revelation says. There's that word slain. Should trigger that scripture in Revelation into your thought. We're not going to go there. The parallel, 1/3 are slain by the sword. This message is the sword that's cutting even into the marrow of you at this moment. So that they might live and not sleep and slumber anymore and take part of the first resurrection. For the only way that you can be dead is if you were under the baptismal written covenant and forsook Yahshua and this message he sent me to you all with. And the only way you can be resurrected is to come out from your sleep and slumber on the hill and receive it and take part in bringing forth Yahshua. This is the first resurrection. So I prophesied, verse 10, 37:10 of Yechezkiah, 6:58, as he commanded me, as Yeshua has commanded me. And the breath came into them. Finally, it's come into you all. And they lived and stood upon their feet. Wow! The body of the 2 witnesses didn't lie dead in the streets of the city of Jerusalem. That even the he-goat spoke the one and only thing in 3.5 years I've heard him speak correctly. This here's the new Jerusalem. And you will come down newly authorized. And the Levitical priesthood will be dissolved. For Yahshua in Hebrews has done a greater thing after the order of Melchizedek. They will stand upon their feet. Boy, them wicked men's hearts are going to fail them then. An exceedingly great army. The finishing of the 144,000 frequency priesthood of after the order of Melchizedek that will be gathered here. And all the heavens were rejoicing in this message. Verse 11, then he said to me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they are our bones. Behold, they say, our bones are dried and our hope is lost. And we ourselves are completely cut off. Yes, you cut yourself off from Yahshua. Israel said, I left you, Micaiah, not to believe and obey all that the prophet Israel said. You still have a window of hope, a door of hope. The door of hope here at the Yeketska 17 Cedar Treehouse that Yeshua with his own hands, Yeketska chapter 17 says, built. That man that called Pastor on the phone. Therefore prophesy and say to them, this is what Father Yahshua says, behold, oh my people. Who's he talking to? China? Panama? Israel? Iran? The Federal Reserve and some debit card that he can't stick his ATM card and get some bubble gum out? Or bribe people with monetary wealth and gifts? No. Oh my people, I will open your graves. Hosea said in chapter 11 in the footnotes, 11 and 10 when the lion roars, there's several footnotes there, that inside my gate, says Yahweh, the gates of Sheol will be. The grave, the gates of Sheol, the grave. I will open up that gate and cause you to come up out. You're going to come out, down and out, but when you come here, it's coming up. Because you're going to be up here, correct now. You can walk upright, up and out. Wow. Out of your graves, out of the grave of Sheol in those gates with those wicked beast men. This is your first resurrection. This is that house set up for the light. This is the judgment. Psalms 19, 1 through 6. And I bring you into the land of Israel. Come on, Hezekiah, I signed the paper. This is dedicated land of Israel. This is the dedicated land of Israel. Okay? So we're back over in 1 Corinthians 15 and 51. And now it takes us to...
We're going to...
Are you there? Would you please lead and guide us, Shahadeen? 1 Thessalonians on page...
That's chapter 4 on page 929.
For your notes, 1 Thessalonians, this is the chain reference, Revelation 20 verse 1. With the key in the chain I'm giving you.
And that's chapter 4, verse 13.
Page, again, page...
929.
929.
It says there, this is the first resurrection, the dead in Messiah. But I do not want you to be ignorant.
All this working together, saying this is the first resurrection. 4 and 13?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But I do
4 and 13. Wow, 413. Backwards is 314. That's my number. Didn't y'all just have the 413? Wasn't the 413 the beginning of the 97? That when her 10 years was up and Hellbop came, wasn't that when Netanyahu shut down the Oslo Accord 28 years ago? Passed lot number 28, divisible by 3.5? Wow. But if you back up another 3.5, you come to September 12th, for your understanding, 9/12, Roman September, Roman 9/12. It was signed in and went into effect Roman 10/13 of 93. That's 31.5. Wow, 31.5 backwards. Yeshua telling me to look at numbers backwards like Hebrews from the right to the left. 513. 513, that's the real Passover here. Wow, all that from 413. Thessalonians 4:13, go ahead. This is the first resurrection, the dead in Messiah. How can you be in Messiah and be dead? There's no such thing unless you're sleeping and slumbering. 1 Corinthians 15:51.
Yes, that's what he's talking about.
This sent us to these bones, O house of Israel. I've known no other family, Moshe 3:2. Go ahead.
That's what he's talking
We're
about.
trying to help you get away from wicked Jesuits, beast men.
But I do not want you to be ignorant, brothers, concerning those who are asleep on the hill, that you would not sorrow as others who have no hope. They're trying to keep
That you would not sorrow those who groan. The man with the acorn that wears it on the collar of his shirt every day, telling you, being told to mark, as I study this out to help you, all those who are groaning for Yeshua, to come out, down, and to come to here. Go ahead.
Right, and you won't have sorrow if you just turn your ignition on and come down here.
Who say they have no hope. Just like it said, we have no hope. All our hope is lost. The door of hope is here. Yahshua is the door of hope. Go ahead.
You got to be brave enough just to get in your car and drive down the street. That doesn't take.
Oh, they all wrote in unity. And Yeshua understood everything perfectly and wrote it in Revelations. He led and guided Shaul. He appeared to Shaul after he was as a man, ascending and descending the ladder, Jacob's ladder, for 2,000 years. Now sitting up there in the back, just sitting up there eating, listening to everybody talk in the subconscious mind, listening to everybody's thoughts and mocking and scoffing.
For if we believe that Yahshua died and was raised again, this is for those that believe in the resurrection. So also those who sleep in Yahshua will Yahshua
sleep and slumber in Yahshua.
Will Yahshua bring with him from the hill? Okay, because they're surrounded there by the wolves over there, the wicked priests.
This way, Yadin, please. Come this way, just a hair.
For we say this to you by the word of Yahshua, that we who are alive...
We hear the seven thunders, the seven Malachim, the first fruits, the one who have been the whole way through with the house of Micaiah, or the house of Yeshua, and believe without seeing, though he has allowed us to see. Go ahead.
And remain unto the coming of the Savior will by no means precede...
To the coming of the Savior here. First, Yachanan 5:20. He came and appeared to all these men. Pastor said he calls me on the phone. He appeared to me and healed my eyes, just as he did show that parallel there, proving to me.
Will by no means precede those who are asleep.
We're not going to precede those who are asleep who are waking up because I've just breathed on you and there's time no more on the hill now. And we've just sat here proving everything from Psalms 1 through 6. It's according to the Omer count, said in there twice in the judgment to be. Taking you to Deuteronomy 23:19. You'd understand it clearly in the latter days. Taking you also to Revelations 11 and 18. That the time is now come. There's time no longer for the dead spiritually. You better wake up today. That 3.5 is done with your fake feast. Detestable. Go ahead.
For Yahshua himself will descend from heaven.
How many times did Kahan Yahuda have to tell us that the word heaven, more accurately translated from the original Hebrew text, means the house of Yahweh? He's going to descend down out.
He's going to descend from the house of Yahweh on the hill there, the house of Beth-Orwen, with a shout. And that's...
With a shout! Go ahead.
Orders or command, that by which orders are given.
Given to me. Orders are given to me. The lion has roared. Go ahead.
With the voice of the Malach, Gadol, and with the trumpet of Yahshua.
Who is the trumpet of Yahshua right now, Yahadin?
The trumpet is Micaiah.
In my family, all these 7 Malachim here are the trumpet. We are one. Yahshua is one. Go ahead.
And the dead in Messiah.
The trumpet, the last trumpet on that last day of unleavened bread here.
And the dead in Messiah, those on the hill,
can't keep a feast of unleavened bread and reject Israel. I left you, Micaiah. That's pride. Leavening.
And the dead in Messiah, that's those on the hill that are asleep, will be raised first. Those are, Yahshua will bring them off the hill.
The dead in Messiah, there's no such thing unless you're alive physically and you're rejecting this message. Then you're dead, but you're in him, but you're dead. But if you stop sucking, you reject this message and stop sucking wind, and you've rejected this message, unless Yeshua has you in place up there as one of his legions of Malachim that he has throughout the earth and the universe, you will not rise again. You've got to be raised spiritually first so that the second permanent death has no power over you. Go ahead.
Then we who are alive and remain will be caught up together.
Caught up. Now, caught up. He's in 1 Thessalonians 4 and verse 17. That word, that phrase, caught up together. You're all the body body of Messiah hearing my voice as I'm prophesying to you, dry bones. This is the first resurrection. Revelation 12 says that child that's born into celestial childhood, that new creation and creature, Yeshua making all things new, is caught up unto Yahweh, unto Yahushua. You're being caught up in the teaching and the wisdom and knowledge that Yeshua's giving me these advanced teachings to give you all.
With them in the clouds, that's the ascension.
Caught up together with them in the clouds of witness. This is the ascension.
The ascension understanding.
The ascension understanding, because it's subconscious travel. The speed of light from one side to the other.
To meet Yahshua in the air.
In the open air. Man, I'm going to get some fresh air. Let's step out into the air. Does that mean we're floating up into a cloud somewhere? If I step out into the air, did I step out on top of a cloud 10,000 feet up in the air, 20,000 feet up? We're going to step out in the open air. We're going to rejoice when he gets here and comes through the gates and comes down here again.
And so will we ever be with Yahshua.
And we will follow him wherever he goes.
So in this way, comfort one another with these words.
Comfort one another with this message today we're bringing to you with these words. He's there. He's here. He's everywhere throughout the earth. Though he is come, he called Pastor on the phone, and his embodiment of a man is sitting at your fake feast this day. His personification. Yes, the acacia meadow. Okay? All right. Now, those things there, we have shown you. We've given you that line upon line. And there was one verse here also that I wanted to give to you all. In Amosha, Amosha, and this is all coming in Amosha. Amosha, where are we at in Amosha here? Let's turn to Amosha, Hosea, Amosha 2, and what was that card saying there? 2, I believe it's verse 5. Yes, Amosha 2:5. When he was reading that in Amosha, I wanted to touch on that, and that's when he made mention of last night, Yadin. Again, Amosha 2:5 on page 695 in your life-giving book of Yahweh Yahshua for your notes. Again, that fire proceeding out of the mouth of those who want to continue in their sin and not receive this first resurrection message. This sword that's slaying 1/3 of you on the hill that will come down and out. From that city that's divided into 3, 1/3 is going to come out. Many are called, but only few will be chosen. Verse 5, so Amosha 2 and verse 5, so I will send a fire upon Yada, and it will consume the palaces of what the damnable he-goat called Jerusalem. I did not do this. They brought these things upon themselves. Anything else? Be thinking on your closing statements. They brought these things upon themselves. You're bringing it on yourselves. This is the message and the plan. I am the Malach in Revelation 12. I bring forward the testimonies of Yeshua. This is the plan that was from the beginning, that is, and there is no other. None. And I prophesy to dry bones. To Israel, O my people. Yes. These flowers are for you. They don't last long. I picked them out of the yard this morning. It's beautiful what Yeshua has done for us. Those wildflowers don't go too long, but they're so beautiful in the yard. I wanted to share them with you all. But purple blossoms will be scattered everywhere by the real Pentecost here, the 1,335th day. And blessed are those who make it and come to that day.
The final...
Go ahead.
Final...
Yadin, teacher, please guide us.
The final thing I wanted to talk about was going back to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. And that's on page 930.
Page 930 in your life-giving book. Okay. We are at... Okay.
And that's chapter 5, starting at verse 1. But concerning the times and the seasons, and the footnote, there's so much more we ought to beware of all dreams and fantasies of men, like the wicked priests on the hill bring out their lineup, their circus lineup, who weary themselves and each other in searching out curiously when Yahshua shall appear, asserting for themselves a vain prophecy. And it says, but concerning the times and the seasons, brothers, you have no need that I should write to you. For you yourselves know perfectly that the day of Yahshua so comes as a thief in the night. For when they will say peace, true peace, then sudden destruction, and that's the footnote there would be nuclear war, comes upon them, and as labor pains upon a woman with child, they will not escape. They're on the hill, nor in the nations, the things that are coming. But you, brothers, are not in darkness. That's talking about those down here. That's the light, the family down here are not in darkness, so that this day would overtake you like a thief. This information is known through from Yahshua through Micaiah, his servant, and to the seven down here that are keeping this way, and it says they're not in darkness down here, so that this day would not overtake you like a thief. So this was given to you so you wouldn't be caught by those wanting you to burn together up there on the hill. That you have a place to come down to here that was prepared by Yahshua and his servant Micaiah down here. And it says, verse 5, you are all the children of light. That's those down here, the family.
Remember that house of light, children of light, Yahshua. Remember that Psalms 19, 1 through 6, this house for the light. Right. Yahshua's the light. We are the light of the world if we are in Messiah, awake, alive in him, not just sleeping and slumbering in the message that he has come.
And the children of the day. We are not of the night like they are on the hill, nor of darkness. We're not of the darkness down here. Therefore, let us not sleep. And the footnote says, here sleep is meant for contempt of salvation when men continue in sin and will not awake to righteousness like they do on the hill. So that's what it's talking about. Therefore, let us not sleep like they do, as do others there on the hill, but let us watch and be sober. For those who sleep, sleep in the night, and those who are drunk in the night. Those who talk about those on the hill, the wicked deeds they do in the darkness. But let us who are of the day, from down here, be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and Ahab, and for a helmet the hope of salvation. And that's in Yahshua. For verse 9, for Yahshua has not appointed us, that's down here, to wrath, but to obtain salvation through our King, Yahshua, Messiah. At verse 10, who died for us, that's the us, for those that he's bringing off over there, they're coming down here in the light, who died for us down here, that whether we wake or sleep, we would live together with him. Therefore, comfort yourselves together, build up the house of Yahshua, that's the house down here, one for the other, as indeed it says that we are doing. And then verses 12, and we appeal to you, brothers, to acknowledge those who labor among you and who are over you in Yahshua and admonish you. And Micaiah and those down here are laboring to bring Yahshua forward, and we're encouraging you, admonishing you, and we esteem them very highly, and for their work's sake, be at peace among yourselves. But the exhortation in verse 14 is coming. It says, now we exhort you, brothers, warn those who are unruly, those on the hill, not keeping in ranks out of order among you. Comfort the downhearted, support the weak, be patient toward all. Yahshua's servant Micaiah has been doing all these things to you, trying to encourage you and be patient and so forth, just as Yahshua has been more than patient. And verse 15, see that no one pays back evil for evil to any, but always pursue that which is righteous, both among yourselves and toward all. Rejoice always, pray without ceasing, in everything giving thanks, for this is the will of Yahshua, Messiah, for you. Do not quench the spirit, do not neglect the prophecies, in the footnote there, that which Yahshua has prophesied, his work, and that's concerning his work down here. Prove all things, hold fast that which is righteous, abstain from every appearance of evil. It says, verse 23, now may Yahshua himself, the creator of peace, sanctify you completely, and may your whole spirit, soul, and body be kept in safety, blameless, to the coming of Yahshua Messiah. He is faithful who called you, and he will also do it. Brothers, pray for us. Greet all the brothers with that same holy kiss. That's the unity. I charge you before Yahshua to have this letter read to all the unity of the brotherhood, or it says holy brotherhood. The mercy of our King Yahshua Messiah be with you. And that was the closing that I was trying to bring to you, that we have to be in that unity from down here under Yahshua, and be here present at the count of the Omer, and all. That's when the change is going to take place. And do you have anything else you want to?
Yes, that is when the change, that last trumpet sounding on that last day of the feast, of the real feast of Passover unleavened bread here at the house of Yahshua. Now, real quick, all this came from inspiration of life-giving spirit of Yahshua, the character of Yahshua, Yahweh Yahshua. He and the Father are one. Now, so we all this came from Psalms 19, 1 through 6. But in closing, one of the things that I had in mind, if there's anything else that pops up that he shows, because right now, that Yahshua is pouring out that message, that he is pouring it out, just as he prophesied that would be on the children of Israel. He's pouring that life-giving prophetic spirit out now. So we're back over on page 441. And again, their witness goes throughout, this witness now today in your hearing has gone throughout all the earth, over the sea of glass and all the medias, in our story to the end of the world. And end of your world going to come crashing down on you. That word end, showing the Tekufa season and showing the Omer count of Yeshua's coming. He has set up this house for the light. That word light. Chain that word light right there in verse 4 there in Psalms 19 to Malachi 4 and verse 2 on page 727, which in Strong's Hebrew 727 is the ark. And that was the tag number on the camper I lived in while I was building this house. It was 727. Yahshua is the ark. Are you a light? Are you an ark? Is light coming out of you? The ark gave out light. They said it shined brilliantly. Is this covenant, this message within you? Are you the ark carrying this true message? Are you awake in it? Because look at verse 2 of Malachi chapter 4 on 727. But for you who reverence my name, Yahshua is the Creator's name, his authority. The light. There's that word light. That takes me back. I got to write a footnote. Psalm 19, verse 4. Okay? The light of righteousness. This is that house, that light, Yahshua's people, family. You are the light of the world. Matithia 5, 14 through 16. And no man takes this light, this message right here, and sits it and hides it in the corner. He lifts it up where everyone can see. Yeshua's come, and this is the resurrection message, O dry bones. This light of righteousness will arise with healing in its wings. And you will go out of that place up there. You will go out. You will go out, out. Revelation 18, the bridegroom and the bride come out. Leaping like calves released from the stall. Down here to the donkey's crib. I had a dream where the donkey was tethered to the cedar post up there. Outside, out front. Okay? And now, turn over in your life-giving book here. This is my closing verse for you all. And then we'll wrap it up because we have other chores to do here. This is Kepha, 2nd Kepha on page 961 in your life-giving book of Yahweh Yahshua, 961 in your life-giving books of Yahshua. 2nd Kepha, and we're looking at chapter 1 and verse 19. Now you also all have this prophetic word to you made more sure to you all. Crystal clear, you would understand Jeremiah 23:19 in the latter days, 2b of verse 6 of Psalms 19. This prophetic word made more sure, which you do well to heed as a light. Wow, I needed to take that back to Malachi 4:2 and Psalm 19 and 4. Okay, that light that shines in a dark place. Just like the boy up there, this spoke, said, cast about in darkness, as I've prophesied for 3.5 years of you all on that hill, cast about in darkness. This is the light that's shining in that dark place, in that dark time, in that plague of darkness. But now you have this word of prophecy, and this is that day, Yahshua's, Nora's. This is that day that dawns, this new day that has dawned, and now the morning star, Yahshua, has risen in your hearts. Knowing this first, that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Yahshua gave it to Israel, and he gives it to his family here. This family in this house that's set up for a light. Not for the interpretation of some wicked beast men who want to hold on for 1 hour their glorified BSCEP teacher positions while they commit acts of lewdness against their own like dogs. For the prophecy did not come in former times, in former 3.5-year intervals, by the will of man. But life-giving men of Yahshua spoke as they were moved by Yahshua's spirit and character. This is that light that shines in the dark place. And Yahshua is the morning star that now through this message, this light that has been set up for you, this house in Psalms 19 that has been set up for you, shines in that place that was dark. Now that light is shining. You've been breathed upon this day by Yahshua. Yahadin, Horas. No, this is the day that a new day is dawned. It has healing in its wings under its talit. Yahadin, is there anything you would like to address to the people before we close out? I'm going to give you the final word here.
Well, the final word is that any of those that ahab Yahshua and want to be part of his family, that Yahshua is the most merciful, kind person that there is, and he's willing to forgive you, but you have to be obedient. That's all he's requiring. It's just a matter of getting out from under the false mindset of the wicked priests over there. And all these prophecies that Yahshua has allowed his servant Micaiah to bring forward to you in the message today are for you to understand, so that to realize that the prophecy is with the servants of Yahshua, and that all you're getting over there on the hill is a bunch of empty, vain words and a circus lineup. If you would be obedient, do what Yahshua says, and come down here. The pastor said he left Micaiah for you. I know the pastor wasn't wrong. He always brought Yahshua forward, just as Micaiah is. And so the real harm is what you're doing to yourselves if you don't listen to the message that Yahshua had written for you by the prophets. And everything's been pointed out and shown to you now, that this is all going to take place, the change, during the time of the count of the Omer. Okay? So If you want to have your name written in Yahshua's, the Lamb's Book of Life, then, what's so hard about singing the song of Moshe or singing the song of the Lamb? You're just coming down here because you ahab Yahshua and and everything that he has done for us. None of us deserve anything. Yahshua is the only one that is the perfection, is the standard of righteousness of the Creator. He is Father Yahshua now, and he is merciful and kind. But he also has to be obedient, and he keeps the laws and the prophecy. So he wants you here where you'll be safe. You're his sheep. So come out of there, those that understand the message and understand the voice of Yahshua that's coming through his message here, and that he'll guard and protect you. You'll be okay. But you have to get here, okay? He'd rather that you come earlier before these events that are going to be coming. You've already been warned the events that are coming up there because of their fake feasts and their wickedness. All the prophets are in agreement in that and showing their wickedness and what they do in the darkness. So come out and be in the light. Come down here. Be rewarded with the blessings for serving Yahshua, and have that eternal life, the reward, and experience the change, and never look back. Just come forward, and we're asking, and I'll just leave you with that message of mercy and kindness to come down. But always remember the other side, that if you disobey, the judgment and so forth, the things that would come by your own doing, by not listening. It's with that I close this, and you want to close the prayer?
Want to?
Yes.
Okay. Let's reverence our King, the King of all kings, great Yahshua. Almighty Heavenly Father Yahshua, supreme ruler in all the heavens and the earth, all authority being given to you, a servant and a slave in your house, Micah Yaakov. I'm a fellow servant, big brother and friend, greatest friend, Yahadin, Yahshua, Yisrael, asking to approach your throne. We're calling out in unity with all those who are like-minded after the order of Melchizedek and hearing of this prayer, both through the sea of glass and abroad, and both near and far. Father Yahshua, ask to come before you, you being our leader, our teacher, our guide, our judge, and our head and our king. And we ask to come before you this day. Shalom, great Father Yahweh, we bless and magnify your name. We give you thanks for the breath of life and for these wonderful laws and prophecies that you revealed to us, you opening these seals here at this very last 3.5 years that are now completed. Now as we head towards the time of judgment and sentencing, Yahshua, we beg your mercy and compassion on those who are awake and are coming here to join themselves here, Yahshua, and that you would please be merciful to us, Father Yahshua. You are fit and worthy, and we loathe our actions when we fail in any way, Yahshua, and we want long to be just like you and to take on your character and to be the light to the nations, Yahshua. You are the light, Yahshua. You are all things to all men, great King Yahshua, and we thank you that you've allowed us to take part in your family and in this joyous prophetic message of the law and the prophets that is sure and true. And we thank you for this house of light here at the house of Yahshua, the house of Micah Eternal that you have set up, this cedar house that's prophesied that you with your own hands built, Yahshua Messiah. And we thank you, great Father Yahshua, that for 2,000 years you've walked this earth and ascended and descended and taken instructions from the Creator of setting Malachim and legions of Malachim in place, even next to dignitaries and in schools and in synagogues and all throughout the earth, that would bring forward this final sealing according to your righteous pleasure and plan, as you are one with the Father and the Creator of this seventh era work of Israel that is continuing now through his servant Micaiah and the house of Micaiah Eternal, your slave and servant Yahshua. And we just bless and magnify your name. We ask now that this breath now that belongs to you, and everything that we have would go forward and wake up those in the valley of dry bones, and that they would hear and heed this message and take it in and breathe it in to themselves, that they might live. And we know that this message is the first resurrecting message, and that all sentencing and judgment now will take place. Those plagues and all the judgment will begin to take place without those that you're sealing up of your final choice, of those on the hill, the seventh arrow on the hill, and with all those both near and far who are now on the highways and byways being invited to your marriage supper, Father Yahshua. We thank you for this food. This is the partaking of the Lamb now that everyone is partaking of, and this is the chastening of the bride. We know only you can do that, and we want to stand before you as chaste brides, pure in our hearts and our minds and our actions and our deeds and our thoughts, Yahshua. And we know that only you can create within us that right character and that righteous spirit and mindset, and cause that light of righteousness to arise in our hearts and minds, looking back to you and loathing anything that's unclean and impure within ourselves, allowing you to come in to our secret place in our hearts and minds, that secret protected place, and live and shine as that morning star, Yahshua, that you are, of this new day that we are now entering into, this day of Yahshua, where you and your bride will go forth to save, and your family will go forth, bringing you forward to all nations and to all creation, your character, the life story, the things that you've done, that you're doing, that you always shall do for your people. We will always testify, as it is written in Revelation 12, of the glory of Yahweh that is in you, Yahshua, that you alone have done these things for your family, for your people, always continually being the most humble, laying it down for all creation, that mankind and the people, your people, would not perish from creation of the face of the earth. And we ahab you and bless you. You are that life-giving frequency and magnetism in this message and in this prayer, and that's going out, that's waking up now, all those who are asleep and sleeping and slumbering. And we do give you all glory and honor and thanks, and bless you and praise you, offering ourselves as living sacrifices out of this house of light, the house of Yahshua that you set up, the house of Messiah Eternal, saying to you, hallelujah, Yahshua. Praise Yahshua.
Praise
Hosanna to King
Hosanna
Yahshua.
to you.
Praise Yahshua,
Praise
our
you,
King.
Yahshua.
He is the way, the truth, and the life. He is the resurrection in this message that you must be resurrected by. Go back, listen to this again and again, replay it over and over and over. This is your salvation. This is the resurrecting message to the dry bones. Psalms 19, 1 through 6. Yeshua bless your understanding.
Bless you.